and Rima, 6 till 10. News Talk 550 K.
We got a lot of ground to cover today. Welcome back.
It's good to be back.
Did you have a good day off?
I had a good day off.
Good.
I went to see Spam-A-Lot at the Tobin Center, and I'll talk about that later on.
Okay, all right. The Commie Dems, the narcissistic sociopath party of the Commie Dems. I did a video where I called them that, and this is why I called them that, because now they're on their channels, and they're saying Graham Plattner is a narcissistic sociopath, and we didn't know that he was one of those. We did not know that.
Oh, the hell they didn't.
And so
come on.
What they're doing is they're acting like all of this stuff that's coming out is all new. We didn't know this stuff at all. This was going on. Of course, Plattner is just their poster boy for a party without principle. That's a whole lot of P's, but I got them in there, okay? I did. That's alliteration, right? You ought to appreciate that, Mr.
Alliteration.
Poet. You ought to appreciate that.
I like a lot of alliteration.
Thank
Get
you.
it? A lot of alliteration.
Yes. So, with a hat tip to John Nolte, because he put all this stuff, the same stuff that we've been talking about, he put it in one place in a list, okay?
Right.
So it's condensed in a list. I like to work with lists. So thank you, John, for doing that. He wore a Nazi SS death head and called it that for 18 years until he decided to run for the Senate. He had, and maybe still has, an account on these alleged predator sites, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kicks. Explicit sex with a half a dozen women in 2023 while he's married. He disparaged all black people as a population that does not tip, so I don't tip black people, he said. He blamed sexual assault victims for being sexually assaulted. He smeared rural Maine population as racist. He had anti-gay posts on Reddit. He promoted an alleged Holocaust denier on social media. He bragged about self-pleasure and porta potties.
Oh, God.
Which I thought was kind of interesting that he stopped on a roadside stand to give his goodbye. You didn't
One
notice
more for the
that?
road.
Was
One
there a
more for the
porta potty?
road. One more
Was
for the
there a
road.
porta potty there?
Yeah. Yes, there was. There were two, in fact. Let's see here. He bragged. He mocked Purple Heart recipient as dumb you-know-what that didn't deserve to live. He encouraged military contractors to do what to hookers in Thailand. He called the Virgin Mary a skank. He had a DUI. He appeared in an anti-Semite podcast who says the Jews killed Kennedy, and he was credibly accused of rape. So this spreads. Here's my point. This spreads to all of the Democrat Party sans one, and we're going to hear from that one in just a second.
Well, he won the primary by what, 70-odd%? They knowing all this?
Right, knowing all of this, the people like Bernie Sanders, okay,
Yep.
Ro Khanna, Chris Murphy, many of the others, with the exception of one Democrat was the only one who didn't push him. Elizabeth Warren said, "That's my kind of guy." I played all this stuff yesterday while you were gone, and so they're the ones that told Maine voters, knowing all of this, knowing all these things. None of this is new. They're trying to act like it is.
No,
none of it's new.
Right.
It's been
We're
out
not
for
that
months.
stupid.
Knowing all of these things, they convinced 156,000 Maine voters to vote for 156,000 voted for him, and now they're going to do to him what they are doing or did to Joe Biden, the party of democracy. They, the Democrats, are the narcissistic sociopath party, and he's just the poster boy.
I agree. I mean, it's weird, though, because the video came out late last night. He posted on social media, and he's getting all weepy, and oddly, he comes out the victim in his own video. They took away all his structures, Trey. They took away his structures. So the power elite, canceled his campaign, essentially, is what he's saying. He said none of the allegations are true, and he's been treated very unfairly, but does he not have a little sway behind the scenes now? Because you've been talking about the money. There's like $2 million from his campaign that's still up for grabs. They're talking about his team trying to put their thumb on the scale of who they choose next. But they don't really give a crap about the voters because the voters chose him.
They have a list of people that they are testing,
right.
And they're trying to find out who that person can be. And when it comes down to it, he'll have to give that $2 million up to the party. He'll have to, because they'll sue him if not. That's what sociopaths do, by the way, and you know this. You're a psych guy. That they if they're the actual perpetrator of something, they turn that around and they make themselves the victim
every single time.
Husbands and wives do it to each other all the time. Oh, honey, where the opposite, the spouse feels really sorry.
It's a kind of gaslighting too, where you make everybody else feel bad for your own crummy behavior.
Right.
Somehow it's their fault.
Right. Exactly. Except for one guy who had all the integrity in this. I'm talking about from the Democrats. He's not one of the narcissistic sociopaths.
Let me ask you. The same cannot be said about the leaders of your party.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like why? Like what Democrats saw in that trash bag? What did they see in this guy? Was it the Nazi tattoo? Was the gross messages online? The way he roughs up women? And now, like, what's why did you go in on this dirtbag? But yeah, it's like, this is your legacy, P. Hustle, and now adios, trash bag.
Now, he just kept going. It was John Fetterman.
Right.
He's on a roll. Last night they caught him when he was walking out of the Senate, and they handed a phone to him, and he was talking.
The thing, I would say to him, like, P. Hustle, bro, you will only be remembered as the accused rapist that got pushed out of your election. That's your legacy, bro. And you are a guy that cheats on your wife. You're the guy that roughs up your ex-girlfriends. That's your legacy, bro.
So,
go back
Senator,
under that rock that you came from.
I got one more from him because I think this is really good. He was right on target with all of this stuff, and then we'll break it down.
All the way to this
absolutely.
point?
Yeah, absolutely. Bernie Sanders needs to apologize to the voters of Maine and to everyone that donated to that train wreck of a campaign. More than anyone, he pushed P. Hustle into the election, and now he keeps pushing these communists and these kind of awful anti-American people. So there's plenty of those people that have to humble themselves. Humble yourself and stop pushing this kinds of people on people in my party.
Now, this is my point, Sean. This is a party issue. This is not just one guy. It's not just Per Plattner. This is the entire Democrat Party, with the exception of this guy, okay?
Right.
He's the only carve-out. The rest of them push this guy and he's our guy. Bernie Sanders, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure he's the next senator. All of these things that these guys did for months, knowing everything that we know now, they knew it then.
Well, collectively, they are. They're like a single narcissist, you know what I mean, in that sense. They operate like a unit, okay? They've been pushing this guy since day one. Again, he did very well in the primaries. And what's really interesting to me is that for over a decade now, what have we heard about Donald Trump? He's a Nazi rapist. That's exactly what you hear. He's a Nazi rapist. But when it comes to a Senate seat, they'll go all the way for a guy who is allegedly and observably a Nazi rapist. And they're fine with that. Well, I mean, it gives you a window into who they are collectively. They really have lost their soul. They truly have.
Right. And that's the definition of a sociopath, a narcissistic sociopath. That's why I called them the Narcissistic Sociopath Party, because that's what they are. And they're a party without principle. They don't have any principles. Their only principle is money and votes. That's the only principles they have, and they'll do whatever they have to do to get money and votes. That's it. That's all they care about.
The label is good. I've actually read about narcissistic personality disorder,
sure.
And they've got all the symptoms collectively.
Correct.
It's always somebody else's fault. They're always the victim. They gaslight. They'll abdicate their whatever standards they have on a whim if it serves them. They'll lie their asses off.
Well, the collective victimhood that they're selling now, that's nothing more than communism, that's what they're selling to everybody. Now we got more commies that are going to be up for a vote this week. All right, we got to take a break. We'll talk more. Coming right back. More Ware and Rima. I want to tell you about Evolve Medical Group, evolvemedgroup.com, evolvemedgroup.com. This morning, I'm hauling the trash can out to the curb. Today's our trash day, so I'm hauling it out there. I'm pulling. We got those big old city trash cans, right? So I'm pulling that thing out there, and I'm thinking, you know what? It wasn't that long ago. This was tough. Dragging a big trash can behind me was tough. Not that long ago. Today, piece of cake. Just come with me, baby, and I just drug it on out to the curb. The reason I share that with you, if you're having limited movement and pain like that, and you're having a hard time just doing the daily things, I want you to get in touch with Evolve Medical Group, evolvemedgroup.com, because they can help you with PRP and stem cells. They do hormone replacement. They do weight loss with GLP-1 medications, but they also can set you up on a weight loss program that doesn't include the GLP-1 medications. They've got peptides. They've got IV therapy that you can use your insurance for. So many things to help you feel better and look your absolute best every day. Do what I did. If you're concerned about the constant pain that you deal with, whether it's arthritic or whatever else, See our friends at evolvemedgroup.com. All right, it's Thursday, July 9th. Mostly sunny and hot today. High 96. Rain chances this weekend right now. 75 KTSA. I'm a KTSA.
Well, we've had a couple of interesting nights in regards to Iran, a couple of interesting days. Most of my day yesterday was spent watching Trump in Turkey, and then JD talking about fraud, but JD also talked about Iran, and I don't know what you guys, how much of this, I'm sure you hit this yesterday.
Sure did.
But, the memorandum of understanding is over, obviously. It never really began.
Nope. Nope.
And Trump yesterday called him loco, called him cuckoo, called him scum.
What'd we say? Liars, cheats, and sick people. That was it.
Liars, cheats, and sick people. He had a lot of names for him yesterday, and scum was my favorite. And he says we're just going to hit him harder. We hit him 80 times, or 80. There were 80 targets, I believe, the first night, and then 90 last night.
You are correct, sir.
So they're jacking it up every night a little more. I think it's showtime. I think it's time you end this. I think it's time to use his own words to complete the job and be about it. And I don't think he really has much choice. I think this was the outcome they wanted anyway. We've all been saying, nobody ever reasonably expected them to do any of this stuff. The Strait is their only possible source of income one way or the other. So they're going to die on that hill, man.
When I said that yesterday, Sean, let me tell you what the Democrats who called the show said yesterday. Well, we should have never gone in there in the first place.
Of course.
Donald Trump started this war, and I tried to explain. You can't get through to him.
Right.
Okay?
Well, of course not.
Narcissistic sociopaths will not listen. I tried to reason with them and explain this started 47 years ago.
Right.
He's protecting you. But, for some reason, the Democrats are cool. If Iran gets a bomb and drops it in Tel Aviv or Jerusalem or in San Antonio, Texas, because we're on the list, by the way, the Democrats are cool with that.
Well,
and they made it clear on the phone yesterday.
The other thing, if you look at the other side of this coin, if this were a Democrat president doing the exact same thing, they'd love his ass. And it's about time somebody takes care of this. They loved Obama for sending them pallets full of cash. They still talk glowingly about that deal, which really wasn't a deal at all.
Go back to the previous segment. They're a party without principles. When you don't have principles, you can change your spots. You can certainly back a guy if he's your guy and he's doing the exact same thing that the other guy's doing and that you hate. Hate.
Not to mention with Trump, and we've seen this since February, it doesn't really matter what he does. He's wrong. If he doesn't hit him hard enough, it's Taco Tuesday, right? He's wimping out. if he hits him too much, then he's a bully and he's a warmonger. So, and he knows that. I mean, look, Trump looked tired yesterday. I will say that. He talked for quite a while. I'm sure he is a little tired with all of this stuff on his shoulders. But I think it's showtime. I think you got to finish the job and midterms be damned. I think it's time to go ahead and do it.
Well, it is time, but it was time months ago.
Sure, it might have been.
You know, backing down months ago was certainly not the right. We should have obliterated them when we started this thing. We should have gone in there to say, we're not quitting until you guys are dead. Every last one of you are going to be gone. Regime change is what this is about. We're not going to negotiate with Hitler and the Nazis like you guys are, so we're going to just obliterate you. And that's what they should have done. So now's the time to do it. He did talk, and one of the reasons he was tired yesterday, he talked all night. I sat here from 1 o'clock in the morning, Sean, because it was turkey time. It was like noon and 1 p.m. and all that stuff. So we're watching him in here, and he talked all night long. And one of the things that kept coming up, and it started by him saying, I'm on their list. I may not be here that much longer. I'm number one on the list. He started in the middle of the night with that, and he said, so I'm sending Air Force One in a different direction, and I'm going to catch another ride home. Then that changed as the day went on.
It did.
To Air Force One is just going to see some people in Europe.
He's going to show it off at some of our bases in Europe.
Which you can tell that's not true. That's a cover story.
He did say that they pulled the shades down. They asked the shades to be pulled down because, they was worried about security stuff.
Let me play that because I've got some of that on tape this morning from him saying exactly that in the stand-up on the old Air Force One.
What was the security concern that caused us to change planes?
We sent this one in so that the Air Force Base here was in the same exact line. So did you see the picture?
We did.
Hundreds of pictures, hundreds of people. Let me see.
And then there's a picture he's going to show of the new one at the Air Force Base.
Hundreds of people out there. So they wanted to see. So they came a little bit early and we switched planes.
So you're saying there wasn't a security concern?
No. Why would
there
they?
any other issue? No issue?
No, except we sent it a little early. Same line going back. We sent it a little bit early so that we could let them see it. The whole base came out and saw the plane, and then we landed.
Do you know why they had us close our window blinds? That was unusual.
Well, yeah, because you're probably on a dangerous flight because
you're on a dangerous flight. And that's what he started out saying in the middle of the night, and then he softened his tone as the day went on. But it was pretty clear, and Elaine and I were talking about it. It's pretty clear he got some info that said, dude, we're going to make sure that you get out of there because there's a serious threat to you.
Well,
he
talked about it yesterday, and he talked about being a president is a dangerous job. He compared the stats to mortality with race car drivers, which I thought of you.
He did.
And also bull riders, I think.
When he told one of the guys from the press, if I would have known it was this dangerous, then I probably wouldn't have run in the first
Why didn't
place.
you guys tell me?
All right.
So, I mean, he is. He's got a big old target on him. He's been shot at, attempted assassinations, 3 at this point? So, he's got a big old target on his back internationally. There's all kinds of people that want him dead. So, I think he was just talking the obvious truth, or just, that's who he is. He's Donald Trump. And as he said before, the reason he has that big target on his back is because why? Because he's effective, because he's doing the job.
If he wasn't, they wouldn't care.
They wouldn't give a crap if he was Obama or he's anybody else who's not really doing anything.
And here's the real problem. So before, when Iran was trying to get him, whether it was Butler, Pennsylvania, or the guy that was hiding in the bushes down in Florida or whatever, when I believe that Iran was behind those, when they were trying to get him there, they just had a couple of people who were working with him. Now, they've got a whole army of people in the United States that hate him. Right?
Oh, sure.
And any one of them, that's why I call him the Democrat death cult, any one of them would love to take this guy out given the opportunity, and Iran just got to give him the opportunity. That's the problem. That's what we're dealing with here.
All of the rhetoric over the past decade has produced an army of violent morons. Every single one of them wants to be the person that does it. Because if you're the person who does it, you become the coolest person in that room. Right? But the way they've characterized him, you bring up the Nazis all the time. If you take him out, you've killed Hitler.
Right. That's right.
And everybody wants to be that guy.
That's why they did it.
Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk for that very same reason.
Right. And that's why they did it.
Allegedly.
That's why. Allegedly. We're going to find out tomorrow because there's going to be one more day today and tomorrow. And today they're supposed to play the boyfriend's, and that's not a girlfriend, by the way. That's a boyfriend.
Dude.
Videotape of the confession. And that's been That's been redacted. The judge redacted that, which Erica and her family said, no, put it all out there. Let everybody see what this guy said that he did, because apparently he admitted it to the guy who was playing a girl.
Well, I agree with them. I think they should play the whole damn
Absolutely.
thing. You should let people see.
Absolutely.
Because if you and their point, if you do redactions, then it gives rise to gossip and what was in there that we didn't see. Alternative theories start popping up, all that bull crap. So if you just play the whole damn thing, nobody can theorize.
That would hurt the defense if they played the whole thing.
Well, that's why they're fighting against it, obviously.
Right. That's why the judge redacted it. They don't want that out there. But I say put it all out there and let it. What they're trying to do, the defense has been saying, we don't want to taint the jury pool. Because this is a lot of people don't realize this. This is the way they do it in Utah. This is the actual grand jury. This is not just evidentiary hearing,
which you don't normally see.
We don't
on TV,
right?
Yeah.
So tomorrow is when they're going to decide whether or not there's going to be a trial, and he has not entered a plea. So we'll see what happens. But before we break, just something to lighten the load.
Sure.
With everything so serious going on, we're attacking Iran, and they're trying to kill me, and all that other stuff. He still found time to be funny.
Go ahead, Red.
Today that countries
You're with who?
MS Now.
MS Now. That's a failing network. Why would you want to work for them? MS Now. Can you imagine? They wanted to get away. They took the name NBC because they were embarrassed by it. Go ahead. Let's go.
But then he said it was a fair question afterwards.
Sure.
Yeah.
And actually, I call him M. Snow because it's just easier that way.
Right.
M. Snow.
M. Snow.
All right. Quick break. More Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA.
Guests of Ware and Rima appear via the Stevens Roofing Newsmaker Hotline.
Yours has evolved.
NXS. Oh. Driving in this morning. By the way, if you're coming in on 35 again, don't.
Just don't.
Yesterday it was
Hover.
It was a horrible crash over there.
Wow.
And so it was closed down most of the morning yesterday until the early afternoon. Today they've got it completely screwed up again.
Did you see the wreck on the way home?
Yeah.
It was ugly.
It was terrible.
That minivan got blowed up.
Well,
no.
drove in the back of an aggregate truck. They said it was distracted driving, and the aggregate truck slowed down because they only had one lane open. And the guy somehow, this is according to police now.
The car was facing the wrong way, Sean.
Oh,
my God.
That's how bad it was.
Drove into the back of that aggregate
Madness.
truck. So anyway, just stay away. Just stay away. That's all you can say about it at this point. You know, you can lay that at the feet of TxDOT. You really can. I got some quick hits. I just want to share some real quick, throw some quick stuff at you since you're back today. U.S. economy defying global slowdown, and this is from the International Monetary Fund. This is not from the Trump administration. This is from the people that hate him. The International Monetary Fund says, you know what? While all the other economies in the world are slowing down by a lot, let me give you an example. The only country that's growing over 1%. That's pretty bad. The only country that's growing over 1% is the UK. The rest of them are under 1%, like 5.5%, 0.8%, 0.7% in growth. Not us. We are growing at almost 3% and projected to grow even more next year. Why? International Monetary Fund said, number one, U.S. energy production. Who hates U.S. energy? Which party hates U.S. energy production in the United States?
Democrats.
Yeah. And remember, they were going to shut it down. And number two is investment in tech. Well, who's making all the investment in tech? Donald Trump. We're doing all the stuff to reshore that stuff, like the chips, NVIDIA chips and everything they're making here. Democrats are okay with investment in tech as long as that's in China, as long as the investment's being made in China.
And he mentioned yesterday that we're beating China
we are.
in the AI war, in the tech war. So that's pretty significant compared when you consider who they are and what they've been producing.
Well, and if you look at the per capita income as well, ours is like 800% higher than the average Chinese citizen.
Right.
So we're doing all right.
We're doing all right.
Our
We're
economy's
the
doing all right.
hottest country in the world, he said. The hottest country.
Well, he's right.
They were laughing at us a few years ago. Now we're the hottest country.
Well, he's actually got the numbers to back it up for the International Monetary Fund. All right, in typical Democrat commie mode, Gina Hinojosa says, if you'll vote for me to be governor, then I'm going to give you $1,500. Isn't that what Democrats always do, or Democrat commies? Because there's no difference anymore, folks. The Democrats are the commies are the Democrats. And so in the Democrat commie party, they take your money and they spread it around. And so she's going to take about $17 billion from Texas taxpayers to buy votes in the state of Texas. And I don't know what else you expect from a person whose campaign slogan is, let's move from the wheels to the high heels in the governor's office.
I don't know if having – I mean, you and I have discussed this before. I don't know if necessarily having a lot of money really makes the difference anymore. I think it's how you run that campaign. So maybe you can have a big old war chest, and it doesn't help you ultimately if your platform still sucks.
Well, this money's coming from taxpayers.
She's taking it. But what I'm saying is the idea of having a lot of money, whether she gets it from us or she gets it by raising it.
No,
I don't know if that's such a factor anymore.
Well, maybe I didn't explain the story. What she's going to do is she's going to take $17 billion of taxpayer. You guys that are stuck on 35 right now trying to get to work, she's going to take $17 billion of your dollars, yours and mine, and she's going to give $1,500 to every house in Texas who votes for her.
She's going to give it to them.
You're going to give it to them. It's not her campaign money. It's taxpayer money. It's money that they take from that the state steals from you.
Right. Well, we heard
$17 billion.
We've heard. You're right. $17 billion. That's a lot to and just give it to taxpayer or the
people who vote for her.
How could that be legal?
If she becomes governor, she's going to give you $1,500.
But the idea is she wants to get $15 billion for those ends, right? So.
No, it's you're already paying the money.
You're right.
It's your taxes.
Take it. Right. We pay it. She wants to take it. And then give it back to you if you vote for her.
If she becomes governor, she's going to give you $1,500.
Yeah, how is that legal? I haven't looked into this story that deeply, so I'm just asking, how is that legal?
She's going to take $17 billion taxpayer dollars and give it to the people of Texas if she votes for.
So if your household votes for her, how does she determine that?
Well, no. It's all the houses. It's everybody. It's every household gets $1,500.
Everybody gets $1,500
if she becomes
the governor.
That's correct.
So basically, she's dangling money over people's heads.
Well, of course, it's vote buying,
her.
but it's the commie way. You're taking taxpayer money, and that's my point.
Well, they can't come up with a platform. They can't come up with anything they can actually sell people, so they got to pay them off.
Right.
I guess.
And that's my point. Is that in the typical Democrat commie way, you take from the people and you spread it around.
Well,
that's what she's talking about.
Well, I think that's a bad idea.
It's a real bad idea. But Democrats don't have any good ones.
Well, that's why they have to do stuff like this, because they don't have good ideas. They're disastrous ideas, and when they lay it out, people know they're disastrous ideas.
The Democrats just got rid of one creep last night, and it's time to get rid of their other creep, the Texas creep, Tallarico. He's signing on with Beto, and they're going to go out and do voter outreach campaign now to get voters to vote for Tallarico. This is their stuff. This is from the Daily Caller. It's a legit story. It's going to sound like Babylon Bee, but it's not. They're going, number one, their primary stop to register voters is drag shows. I'm not making it up. It's number one on the list.
I believe you, absolutely.
Number two is Mexico soccer matches, because they want to sign up people from Mexico to vote for Tallarico. Are you believing this? This is crazy.
I am, actually.
Yeah, and then people that have been purged from the voter rolls. Now, in Texas, you get purged from the voter rolls in a couple of ways. Number one is you're an illegal alien. Number two, you have been convicted of a felony. Or number three, you're dead.
Right.
So they're going to go, he and Beto are going to go out, and they're going to put those people back on the voter rolls.
Well, of course.
Now, he calls himself a Bible-believing pastor who preaches the Word of God, right? Isn't that what he said?
Yeah, on a number of occasions, yeah.
Right. He's for, chopping up transgender children, mutilating them. That's what he's for, which is anti-biblical. As the day is long, you might as well have a millstone around your neck and thrown in the deepest sea, is what Jesus said, not Trey. Jesus said that. But he also said that, God told Mary to go ahead and abort Jesus if she wanted to. And then he said this yesterday.
I'm always so thrilled when I get invited, to the Diwali festival. I think I've gone 2 years in a row now. And, also have gotten a chance to speak at some of our local mosques. And I find such wisdom and comfort and inspiration from faith traditions all over the world. And I find that they're all kind of equal pathways to truth. That's how I think, I always think of all of the world's faith traditions as like a circle with, that divine mystery of the universe in the middle. And we all have different names for that mystery, right? Whether it's God or Yahweh or Allah or Nirvana, the Great Spirit, whatever you call it. This is all different pathways to the same kind of fundamental truth of reality. So yeah, it's something it's how I try to stay grounded and stay rooted.
In that very lengthy statement there, he just called Jesus a liar, because in John 14:16, Jesus said, "I am the way and the truth and the life, and nobody comes to the Father except through me." So in several ways, he is taking Scripture way, way off the truth and the path of Scripture. So.
I mean, he has no validity as a preacher in any way, shape, or form. He's obviously using that to trick people into voting for him. I don't necessarily completely disagree with the idea that God can be all things to all people. But this guy, I'm not buying what he's selling at all as far as him being an actual man of faith. I don't buy it all.
Right. Exactly.
I just don't, because everything he wants and everything that's a part of his platform is pretty much antithetical towards a life of faith.
100%.
Because you really have to embrace the truth of things if that's who you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get into the tranny crap, you're really not dealing with truth in any way, shape, or form.
No, you're not. No, you're not. And and he's the one who has chosen to base his campaign in the Bible. And if you're going to base your campaign in the Bible, you better make sure you're true and right with what you're saying, not making stuff up.
That's
what he's doing.
Stuff like consent and abortion into Scripture, which is ludicrous. So I don't. But it may work with enough people. I find the Beto thing even funnier though. Because Beto is still seen like a rock star with these people. The guy's never won a freaking election in his life. He's a rank loser, But you know what? He'll probably help Tallarico.
No, Tallarico's polling well in the state of Texas, and here's why. There's a crap load of money from outside the state and, Sean, outside the country.
Oh, sure.
Very few of his dollars come from inside Texas. We got to take a break. More Ware and Rima coming up. Texas Rhino Shield's going to look beautiful on your home. How do I know? Because we got it on the warehouse, and it does look beautiful. It doesn't look like typical paint. It looks like several grades above what a typical paint, even the highest grade paints would look like on your home. The finish is so much different, and it's like, man, some of the best stuff you've ever seen. You just got to see it for yourself to understand what I'm talking about. It really stands out. It really looks great. It really comes in all kinds of colors that you can mix and match and do whatever you want to with those colors. But the bottom line is, not only does it beautify your home, it protects your home. The UV rays from the sun, particularly this time of year because it's just pure sunshine beating down on your home, but really anytime. You know, you can get a suntan or sunburn in the cloudy days. And that's what happens around here is that sun and the UV rays continue just to bang on your home. And the next thing you know, that paint fades, and then it cracks a little bit, then it chips off and it peels off. And now your boards, your hardy plank, whatever, is now exposed to the elements. That won't happen with Texas Rhino Shield, and they guarantee that it won't happen with Rhino Shield. Family-owned, locally owned, and operated with Anthony LaBarbera and his son Colton ready to come out and give you a free, no-obligation quote right there at your home. And they'll take $2,500 off of it if you just mention Trey Ware, TexasRhinoShield.com. It's Thursday, July 9th, mostly sunny, hot, high 96. Rain chances this weekend. 75 now, KTSA. to Guess Who, American Woman 650 KTSA.
Well, let's hit the crime blotter. I want to hit a couple of crime stories. You probably talked about this one yesterday in South Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
This female officer, really disturbing video to watch.
Horrible.
You know, there's a block party going on. There's a bunch of teenagers around, it looks like, and they just swarmed her. One was holding her down, other was punching her in the face.
Yeah.
It goes on for quite a while until, other cops start showing up and tasing people.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I don't know what you guys said about it yesterday. I'm sure we are of the same mind that for a lot of young people especially who have been kind of raised in this sociopathic way, we've been linking that to the Democrat side of the room in the public education system.
That's right.
Where, they really just, the blue line is gone. Okay, these are people who will attack a cop and not think twice about it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were savagely attacking her. Mm-hmm. And they had no compunction over the fact that she was a woman or any of that stuff. She's a cop. And they were beating her in the face. One was holding her down.
It was horrible.
You see this in these neighborhood takeovers, whatever city you're talking about, whether it's Chicago or all manner of other blue cities, and they take over an entire block.
Yes, sir.
And then they attack the cops. They have no hesitation about attacking cops.
I did fold it into the North Carolina Raleigh thing where they had the 10,000 who came in, and then following on that, you had that that one there that you're talking about, and they found at that one that you're talking about right now, they found all kinds of weapons. They found machine guns, and they found spears that they had made. So
think about that.
And you can imagine what I said yesterday. I said, look, here's the deal. I don't care what your age is. If you're going to act like an adult and commit crimes like an adult, we're going to treat you like an adult. We're going to lock you up the same amount of time that we're going to lock up adults. I don't care. So you're going to throw away a 15, 16, 17-year-old's life? Yeah, I am. I really am. Because, again, you heard me talk about bricks and bars. And that's if you want to act like that. Because they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing to her.
They absolutely know what they're doing.
They made an adult decision. You make an adult decision. So, yes, we're going to treat you like an adult, and you can go live with the other beasts behind bricks and bars. The rest of us are going to live in an ordered society.
Well, they're an oddly feral group of people, that particular segment of that generation. And not oddly, it kind of makes sense that they are that based upon what they were hearing in the school systems.
That's right.
Based upon, I think, the emotional numbing of social media and not really properly learning how to interact with people. They also weren't raised the way you and I were raised as far as how you view police officers, law enforcement. We had the state cops would come by once a year, as far back as I remember in school, and they'd talk to you about, how you respect law enforcement, you follow orders, you don't run from them.
Right.
We were taught.
That's what I said. That's just funny.
What?
I said, if you got a problem with a cop, then you take it up with the person wearing a black robe downtown. You don't take it up with the cop there on the scene.
Well, yeah,
because the cop wants to go home.
The cop on the scene is just doing his job, and you're his job, right? And but there's a certain segment of this young generation that's just not there, and a cop ain't no different to them than anybody else they're going to swarm and beat the crap out of.
Please forgive me if I go back to sounding a little preachy, but we need to start teaching kids about God again, and that's one of the things that gives me hope after what Charlie Kirk was doing. But this is what happens when you remove God from kids' souls, and they don't have God in their lives. They become, your word, feral. Well, that's what happens.
It also is what happens when you just don't pay attention to them and you let the social media raise them.
All of the things you said are right, but I want to add to what you said. I want to add God in there as well.
Right.
Because for generations in this country, we had a God-centered education system, a God-centered community. You were raised in that. I was raised in that. And we were taught that you had a supreme being that you have to answer to eventually. That's just a fact.
Well, especially if you're a Christian, you're following the Gospels, you're following the teachings, you are invariably going to be a good person who is caring about other people, because you have to have you have to have a certain whether you think you're going to get punished by God or not, you got to have a certain capacity for empathy towards your fellow human beings, and faith provides that. This is why you should care about other people. And they should care about you, and if you live that way, we'd all get along a lot better. Now to another story, though, that's a slightly different kind of a story.
Okay.
We plow through the news every day, and we see all kinds of bizarre stories, but this one actually kind of stopped me. We have a guy in Indiana who's an arsonist, And he was having a dispute with his neighbor, and his name's Christopher Peden, 36 years of age, of Fort Wayne. He took a knife and removed a certain part of his body. He allegedly then doused that part of his body, which he had just removed from himself, and he doused it with gasoline, set it in his neighbor's garage, and set it on fire. He tried to set his neighbor's garage and house on fire with a body part, his own body part, which he removed. And I'm not going to go into what the body part was.
Oh, you're not?
Well,
his big toe.
No, it wasn't his big toe. It was a little higher than that.
His pinky finger.
Penis?
Yes, that. Thanks, Elaine. His penis.
We can say that on the radio. That's fine.
Well, we just did.
As long as you're not doing a sexual scene.
Oh, I know. I've been doing this a while.
As long as you're, Elaine, as long as you're not doing a sexual scene.
We know.
Yeah.
Penis. Penis. He removed his own penis with a knife, allegedly, set it on fire in his neighbor's garage.
How much PCP had he done?
I don't know, but I'm suspecting drugs and alcohol were involved at some point. We've had no, toxicology tests come back, but I'm thinking he was either having an extreme mental health episode or he was messed up or a little bit of both. But it's just kind of perplexing logic that if you were going to set your neighbor's house on fire, that you would cut that off, and that would be the tool of choice for setting your neighbor's garage on fire.
Well, he sure got he's in attention. Did he survive? The guy alive?
He's alive. They
patched him up,
again, they're kind of waiting to hear. This happened in May, actually, and it's just being reported. I got this from I've taken to reading the New York Post on a daily basis, which I never did, but they have the weird stories. The New York Post will have sort of those pseudo-tabloidy kind of stories that you don't see everywhere else. So I go to the New York Post for weird crap, and this is a weird story.
Been reading them forever. That's the oldest newspaper in America.
Right. Well, I just started reading it a few years ago.
Madison's paper. What were you going to say, Christian?
I was going to suggest maybe the toxicology report's just not necessary here.
Can't we sort of assume there was some kind of chemical involved? The man cut off his own penis and used it as a weapon of arson?
It's like which one?
Which one what?
Which chemical?
Oh.
He's still alive.
We already established which body part.
Yeah.
He's still alive?
Yeah, he's alive.
Man, how do you survive that?
Well, he cauterized it, perhaps.
Right, that's what I was going to say. He
gosh.
cauterized it in the garage, stopped the flow, and he's all right.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Who needs breakfast?
You want to be in a cell with that guy?
He's speaking an octave higher this morning.
He has a high-pitched, girly voice all of a sudden.
Guess what I did for fun yesterday?
What are you in here? He's got a cellmate. What are you in here for?
Well, I was a little pissed off at my neighbor. And I don't remember because I was on PCP.
So
I tried to set his garage on fire with my penis.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Oh, God.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
I want to see it.
We'll get him a job as Mickey Mouse.
I want to see an animation of Smokey the Bear just going, what in the hell?
What is
Are
that?
you kidding me?
Yeah.
AI can make it happen.
They sure can. More Ware and Rima coming up, KTSA.
Ensure your retirement income with Big State Financial and their Safe Money Retirement Program.
Welcome back, me, compadre.
Good to be back. Just took a day off. Went to see a late show at the Tobin Center on Tuesday night.
Went out with your boyfriend?
My boyfriend, yes, my BFF, my boo.
Your sugar boo?
My dude. Yeah. He treats me very nice.
And so you had a good time. It was a great show. You laughed. You
spam a lot. I mean, you want to start off with this? I mean,
well, you just do it real quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's Monty Python based. It's been around since 2007 or something like that. It's won a bunch of Tony Awards. And we saw it at the Tobin Center. We're both Monty Python fans, and both of our wives hate Monty Python,
well,
and so we had to go together. But I had never been inside the Tobin Center for a show.
Yeah.
It's a nice theater, and then we went to the buffet, and that buffet is amazing.
I was telling you, it's the old Municipal Auditorium where a million shows have happened throughout the years, and they really have done a great job. The Tobin family, wonderful folks.
It's an amazing facility, amazing theater, but that was the best lobster bisque I've had in decades, man. It was a good show. It was kind of gay, but I understood why it was gay. It was very gay.
Well, that's why you went with him and not your wife.
Well, we're not gay, Trey.
Okay.
We're just friends, man.
You're Talarico.
We're not doing the Talarico thing. Yeah,
we will not tolerate this disrespect to Randylicious.
Randylicious
exactly.
is what we call it. But it was a good show. But the funny thing about Spam a lot is that it takes you a few minutes to realize that it's actually very satirical towards Broadway musicals.
Sure.
So that's why they kind of gay it up a bit. But it was funny. It was a funny show.
Good. I'm glad you had a good time.
And
we're glad you're back. So
thank you.
Yeah. Now let's dive into some of this other stuff. Here's a funny little thing because I came up with this line this morning. The Democrat Party are narcissistic, sociopath party, right? And so
narcissistic sociopathic party.
Right. Because that's what they're calling Grand Platinum. And I said, well, that's the whole party. So I came up with that, gave it to Elaine to do our thumbnail for our YouTube.
Right, for the video.
I have to put DNS party, the DNS.
Because
do you know that they will not, that AI will not say that about the Democrat Party?
They won't attach Democrat to narcissist
It's
socialist.
not getting the narcissistic sociopath part.
See? They won't do it.
Oh,
See?
Aren't we all sort of picking up that AI leans in a certain direction in general?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But bottom line is they're a party without principle. And this whole thing with Per Plattner, he's just the poster child of the entire party, save one guy, and that one guy is John Fetterman. But everybody else, from Bernie Sanders to Ro Khanna to Chris Murphy, and I go down the list of all, Elizabeth Warren, they all, and I played them all yesterday, saying, vote for this guy, he's great. And they knew exactly what he was about. Well, you could have stopped at the Nazi tattoo. Yeah, that would have been the end of it for most rational human beings. You walk around with a Nazi tattoo, and then when it's discovered and you have to address it, you say, well, I didn't know that's what it was. That's a lie, because everybody that he crossed paths with, the 18 years that he had it, that's what he said. It's my Nazi tattoo. So, this stuff has been around. The rape allegations have been around. This is nothing new, although they're trying to convince you that this is brand new and that's why we're pulling him from the race. No, it's not. The Democrats knew all along that he had rape allegations against him. They knew all along that he was on this site, this Kick site where kids hang out and pedos allegedly go. They knew all along that he disparaged black people as being, you don't tip, I'm not going to tip, I don't tip black people. All of the stuff that this guy said and did, they knew it all along. And that's why the only guy with any kind of principle, it's a party without principle. The only guy with any kind of principle, John Fetterman out of that party, said this.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Bernie Sanders needs to apologize to the voters of Maine and to everyone that donated to that train wreck of a campaign. More than anyone, he pushed P. Hustle into the election, and now he keeps pushing these communists and these kind of awful anti-American people. So there's plenty of those people that have to humble themselves. Humble yourself and stop pushing, this kinds of people on people in my party.
So bottom line is the Bernie Sanders of the world, all the ones that I just mentioned a second ago, were willing to elevate an alleged rapist to one of the highest positions in our country, of United States Senator. There's only 100 of those. And so it's a very high position, supposed to be lofty. They were willing to put him in there just so that they could get the power, which equals money to the Democrats, of course, because they get their hand in the till at that. They knew all this stuff. They knew about the DUI. They knew about credibly assaulting his ex-girlfriend, the rape allegations, the stuff that, you know, the one we talked about yesterday, which was just as gross as
Is this the condom one?
Yeah, this is the stealthing, and this is where you remove your condom during sex without telling the girl, and she wasn't on birth control. So they knew all of this stuff, and it's nothing new, but yet they were pushing him. That's why this is who they are. When you look at Graham Plattner, this is the Democrat Party in toto, okay? And he's just the poster boy. If you want to see the face of the Democrat Party, he's it.
Well, and all the people who voted for him. I mean, they had a fair amount of people vote for him in the primary. But you're right; it's a kind of a window into who they are collectively. And what does a narcissist do? A narcissist usually accuses you of being what they are, and we've said that about the Democrats for quite a while. Okay, they've been calling Donald Trump a Nazi rapist for 10 years. They get a guy who allegedly is a Nazi rapist, allegedly. And they're all in. You know what I mean? They were all in with this guy because ultimately the Democrats don't give a crap about morality or ethics or character or any of that stuff. It's what you have to do to win. That's all that matters. It's the same with the voters. It's the moronic people who vote for these people. And it's certainly true of the leadership. They don't really give a crap.
Well, and I'm not going to dismiss the voters. You're absolutely right, because they made a conscious decision and the information was out there and available. But they were led that way by the party leadership. 156,000 people in Maine voted for this guy. 156,000.
They voted for him, yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
For this.
And I'm not dismissing their responsibility. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying the leadership of the Democrat Party, they're to be held responsible for this, because they are the ones who knew all of this stuff clearly, and yet they came on television every night. They went to rallies. They held his hand up high in these rallies, and they said, vote for this guy because he's going to be great. And they knew they were standing there with a guy who had rape allegations against
yeah,
him.
you're right.
And they stood there with the guy.
They did. Excuse my will sneeze.
No, go ahead. Do you need to? Go
no,
ahead.
I'm good.
Are you?
So, you know, that's God bless me in advance.
Yeah.
That's all true. You know, but again, it doesn't. They didn't start dropping this guy. They didn't drop this guy until the money river started going down.
Yes.
The polling numbers started going down. But prior to that, they loved his ass.
Right.
And people voted for this because, again, they've lost their soul. You could put Jeffrey Dahmer up in Maine and he'd probably win.
Well, or anywhere else.
Or anywhere else, yeah.
Anywhere else you want to call the Democrat Party. That's why I keep saying that Fetterman's actually a MAGA guy who is rolling into Democrat.
Fetterman's certainly not a modern-day Democrat.
Well, you know what's interesting? We always have in the Republican Party, we have what we call rhinos. They're actually Democrats that run with an R. With
Republican in name only, yeah.
And they run with an R because that's what they have to do to win, but they're actually voting with Democrats. Susan Collins is one of them, by the way. In this case with Fetterman, he's actually a Republican who ran with a D behind his name because he had to win in Pennsylvania, but he's a Republican. You listen to the guy.
I think he's his own person, and
well,
that in and of itself is a rare thing with the modern Democrat.
Democrat Party, in addition to being narcissistic sociopaths, they're also a party with no principle. And that's how you get into a situation where 1 minute you're backing Graham Plattner knowing that he has rape allegations, and the next minute you're saying, no, hey, listen, we got to get rid of this guy. You don't have a principle, so you don't have a mooring that you're hanging on to. You'll go wherever the wind blows you. And that's them right now.
What have you encountered with the narcissists you've known in your own life? They'll have one opinion one day, and then a month later, they have a completely different opinion.
That's right.
Because they need the opinions out there that best serve them in the moment. And you're right. It's because there's no ethical mooring there. So they just say whatever they need to say, whenever they need to say it, and then pretend like, well, no, that didn't happen. That's exactly what they're doing with Plattner.
That's right.
They were all in with this guy.
That's what I'm saying.
All in with this guy.
That's what I'm saying.
And if they really cared about democracy, no, they'd keep the guy. They wouldn't let the guy drop out. That's what the people wanted,
That's my point is 156,000 Democrats voted for this guy. Guess what? He's your guy. He's the man.
This is the guy you wanted.
So
they voted for him. He should be the guy on the ticket.
Exactly right. That is my whole point about all of this. And so the Democrats getting rid of one creep in Maine, and we got a creep in Texas, Tallarico, who is running. And played earlier a piece of sound from him saying that, all paths lead to God, which is calling Jesus a liar when you say that, because Jesus said no, not all paths lead to God. But here's something else that he said that, again, he's trying to use the Bible and twist Scripture. He's a Scripture twister, as I call him. Here he is.
You saw it in the anti-LGBTQ legislation, including the bill that would have denied gender-affirming health care to trans children.
Okay, let's just talk about that for a second, okay? When I say that the guy is for chopping up children, trans children, so that removing penises and breasts, mutilating healthy children, that's what I'm talking about. He is so butthurt over the fact that we block that and don't allow that here in the state of Texas.
A bill that would have denied gender-affirming health care to trans children. And then, of course, infamously, we saw it last session with the most extreme abortion ban in the country.
Okay, so not only is he for chopping up children, he's for killing them in the womb, too.
Well, all these ideologies stem from this Christofascism movement.
He's blaming Christians again.
Christofascism. I love it. Look, his ideas, his opinions are the standard stuff of any given Democrat right now. That's what you have to be pro-trans kids. You have to be pro-gay. You have to be pro-abortion. You have to be open border. You have to be all of this
But
stuff.
you know what? With him, he actually believes all of that.
Oh, I don't give a right.
I'm just telling you, he actually believes all of this crap that comes out of his mouth. That's who this guy is.
I don't know if he does or he doesn't. I don't care.
Like one of the things we talked about yesterday was he stood in May of 23. He stood against blocking these sex shows in public in front of children.
Of course.
And he said the reason he gave for standing – there was a piece of legislation in May of 23 that would have blocked public sex shows in front of children.
Right.
And he said, no, I don't want to do that because one of the most important constituencies here in the state of Texas, and we have the best anywhere in the nation, are the drag queens. That's what he said.
I know. Yes.
Now, you think about whose side he's on in these extreme things, and you're not hearing that in the mainstream media. They're trying to lie to you about who this guy is, but I'm playing it straight from his mouth. That's not me making it up. That's him saying it.
I agree. He's got to cater to those people because they're the only people still hanging on to this ideology, to any of this crap. And they desperately need those people to vote for a guy like that.
So unless you believe, that abortion should be any time for any reason at all, and unless you believe that we need to cut the penises and the breasts off of healthy little children and mutilate them, then you must be a Christo-fascist. That's what you are.
You're a Christian fascist, and you're imposing your will upon me, blah, blah, blah.
If you're pro-life and you want to protect little children, okay, whether they're in the womb or out of the womb, then you're a Christo-fascist. That's his word. That's what he said.
Well, yeah, again, that's where I say he's kind of trying to ride both sides of the fence as far as being a preacher and also being sufficiently anti-Christian for his Democrat support base, because you can't be all in. Even if you're a pastor, you can't be all in for Christianity because that's a bad thing with these people.
Knightley Insurance Group, Nick Knightley and his team are ready to visit with you about your Medicare needs, no matter what they are. And, in fact, if you haven't made your Medicare decisions yet, they will help you make those decisions and what's right for you. And they'll take as much time as necessary. And, by the way, this doesn't cost you anything to get online with them or on the phone with Knightley Insurance Group. They are actual real people that are in our area to answer the phone and speak with you about your Medicare choices, which can be confusing. You get on their website, and it can be confusing. You got to make those decisions the right way the first time, because then you get locked out and you can't make any changes to your program, and that makes it really difficult on you. But I can tell you this. If you're already signed up with Medicare and then something happens with your prescriptions or a physician or something like that and you need to make a change, well, then they can help you at Knightley Insurance Group as well. Even if you didn't consult with them in your original signing up with Medicare, they're ready to consult with you right now. So if you have a change and a prescription changes or your doctor changes, whatever, and you need some advice and some consultation on what to do with your Medicare program, then turn to our friends at Knightley Insurance Group, and they'll walk you through everything you need to do. Okay, it's real simple to find them. KnightleyInsuranceGroup.com. It's Knightley with a K. KnightleyInsuranceGroup.com. All right, mostly sunny and hot today. High about 96. Rain chances coming up this weekend. 75 right now. KTSA. One, Ware, and Rima. Hey! What's going on?
Oh, let's talk about celebrity idiots for a second.
Okay.
This is a little off-ramp here. I don't know if you talked about Keith Richards yesterday.
No.
Old-ass Keith Richards, who's lived in Connecticut, I didn't realize, for about 40 years, says that America is a bit of a disappointment. You still live here, though, don't you? The Rolling Stones have a new record coming out that I'm not going to listen to that I guess, alludes to some criticisms of America. And, we just suck, Trey. And so an old guy who's made a crap load of money off of Americans buying his records for the course of most of his adult life, we're a bit of a disappointment right now.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Here, surprise, surprise, here's another old washed-up celeb who hates America, who is very wealthy, could be a billionaire at this point. He's 82.
Rich old drug
very
abusing
rich,
guy.
yeah, right. And he hates the country that gave him the billions of dollars. Think about that one for a minute.
The American audience is really what, puts them over the top.
This is Donald Trump. That's all this is.
But I want to bring up Michael Rappaport for a second because I find this interesting. Michael Rappaport, who's been a political loudmouth for a long time, he's one of these guys that's railed against Donald Trump for a long time. And he was on a podcast, and he's thinking about running, for, is it mayor or governor of New York? Mayor. I think against Mamdani, who he doesn't like. And he was on this podcast saying he's not, he's going to treat Donald Trump with more respect. He still has a lot of disagreements with him, but he's not going to call him names anymore because he said after October 7th, he started to become politically aware and started to educate himself. Now, fine, I don't really think about Michael Rappaport that much, but I mean, good. If you think Trump's doing a good job on some things or with Israel or what have you, I got you. But what struck me about this interview is that the man, he's a 56-year-old dude. A 56-year-old dude who has been running his mouth about politics for quite a while. And what he just admitted there without really kind of recognizing it is that he admitted he didn't really follow politics at all or have a secure or a definite political opinion about stuff until he was in his 50s. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So for his entire life, I bring it up because I think a lot of them are like that. A lot of folks who have lived in a celebrity bubble most of their lives they're like kids. They don't really have political opinions. They get their political opinions from their own media, from Jimmy Kimmel, from guys like that, and they themselves are not really politically educated or aware. He just admitted, I didn't start looking into political stuff until I was in my freaking 50s.
Well, do you think Bob De Niro has spent 5 minutes thinking about politics?
No.
He just sees what... Go ahead.
Yeah, De Niro's been a famous guy since he was in his late teens, early 20s when he started making some of the movies. I mean, he was young when he did Godfather 2. So a lot of these people, they live in that bubble their whole adult lives, and that's why their opinions very often seem so childlike because they haven't lived in the real world for a long time. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. Let me add one more thing about what he said, because this is important, as important as what you're talking about. He was not politically aware, and yet he was, during all that time, criticizing Trump until October 7th happened, and they took the hostages underground and started raping the hostages while they were alive, and some of them after they were dead.
Right.
And so he said, you know what, I looked at the Biden administration and I realized that neither Biden or Kamala was going to get those people out of there. It wasn't going to happen. And the only guy that had the capability, the moxie, the know-how, and the ability to get them out of there was Donald Trump. And that's why I won't speak ill of him, because Donald Trump got every single living hostage.
That is precisely what he said, that he got the hostages out, and that's when he started paying attention.
So he had,
I'm glad he's made this. He's turned this corner.
So he had a foregone conclusion in his head about Donald Trump. He trashed Trump for years and then went, you know what, he's not a bad guy. He got them out of there. Wow.
But so you have two things being revealed here. Again, your average celebrity idiot mind, which really isn't that educated, isn't that well educated on political things, and yet they have very strong opinions. This guy had very strong opinions about Donald Trump prior to October 7th and the hostages and all that stuff. And now and I applaud the fact that he's admitting to it. But again, this is why their opinions at election time really don't matter. And increasing amounts of research will tell you that celebrity endorsements, not only do they not help, but they very often have the opposite impact because they're talking out of their ass most of the time.
Well, fold that into Keith Richards, where we started in this segment. He hadn't given 30 seconds of thought to politics. He's number one, he's got a record to promote. That's the number one thing.
Well,
so
yeah,
he had to
absolutely.
say he had to say something that the media would pick up on,
right?
So that he could promote that new song, and people go, "Oh, I've forgotten about you. I don't even know you were. Are you still making records?" And so now he's got an entree into that, and then he just latches on to what everybody else is saying. This place sucks. That's all he's got to say, and he gets in the front page.
Mentally, he's probably still a 19-year-old.
Correct.
You know what I mean, emotionally speaking. But you're right. They have a record. When's the last time you heard Keith Richards say anything political?
That's what
I
I'm
can't
saying.
remember the last time.
And a guy who's makes a lot of money off of just singing Brown Sugar over and over again and playing it on his guitar. Dun, dun. Look, he's never thought once about politics. This is just the cool thing to do at the moment because it's Donald Trump.
He sees Bruce Springsteen doing it and all his contemporaries doing it, and they're trying to sell records.
That's all that is. That's all that is. Now, I want to trigger – I did a video yesterday to trigger Democrats, and I did it on purpose to trigger Democrats because this happened – and it's official at 5:01 this morning.
A couple minutes ago, 5:01 a.m.
This is Eric Trump, Donald John Trump Jr.'s son.
The name of the airport changed from Palm Beach International.
I mean senior. I said junior. I mean senior.
To President Donald J. Trump International. 5:01 a.m. The name of the airport changed from Palm Beach International to President Donald J. Trump International Airport. And there's no way in hell I was letting UPS be the first plane to land. So we got on Trump Force One, and Lawrence, you've been on it, and Brian, you've certainly been on it, and Emily, you've probably been on it as well. But we had to be the last plane to take off out of PBI, and then air traffic control comes on, and welcome to Trump Force One. You're the first plane to ever land, at this airport, and so we touched down at exactly 5:01 a.m. this morning, and it was a beautiful day. I don't think there's anybody more synonymous with Palm Beach than Donald Trump, and maybe all of Florida. And it's his home. He absolutely loves the state. Won the state by a major margin. And this is the plane that carried him to victory. A lot of people will argue 3 times, but certainly 2. It was the backdrop of so many of the presidential campaign stops. There's so many stops with us as a family.
So the Palm Beach International Airport is now the Donald John Trump, President Trump International Airport. BG products in your vehicle. You want to keep going that extra mile, and you want to do it for less money. Well, BG products can help you do that as well, because BG products help protect your vehicle better than anything else that you could possibly put in your car, your truck, your van, your motorhome. It doesn't matter. I got it in my motorcycle too. It really, really cuts down on the friction inside the engine. So if you're stuck on 35 out here yesterday and today, and the engine continues to turn over, you got the AC going, listen to the radio, well, you don't have to worry about all that friction building all that heat in there, because BG helps protect you from that, helps protect the engine from that. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're never going to have an engine problem if you just put BG in. That's simply not true. But what I can tell you is you get the maximum protection from BG products. That's the MOA that goes inside the engine. Now, they got another product to help you save money every time you fill up. It's called 44K, and that cleans out the fuel system, and it's amazing to see how this stuff works. Cleans out the lines, cleans out the filter, cleans out the injectors, cleans the top of the engine, and lubricates the top of the engine. So it takes less gas or diesel to operate your vehicle, no matter what it is you drive. And whoever changes your oil, that's the guy to do it for you. Just ask for the BG service every time. If you want to find out more about it, just go to the website, bgfindashop.com.
News Talk 550 KTSA and the Gomez Law.
5 now, KTSA, Ware, and Rima. Just last week, the Supreme Court handed down the birthright citizenship, American citizenship ruling. And it didn't take long because immediately in South Texas, along the border, we had a hospital, Mission Regional Medical Center, put up a big billboard that said, "Hey, listen, if you're pregnant in Mexico, come on over here, and for $3,950, you can have the baby, and that baby will be an American citizen." HaveMyBabyInTexas.com. HaveMyBabyInTexas.com. So an investigation has been ordered into this by the governor of the state of Texas. The hospital apparently is taking the billboard down, and they're wiping the internet of the HaveMyBabyInTexas.com website, so on and so forth. But the point is, this has been going on under the radar for, well, forever, since, birthright citizenship became a thing. The hospitals that you and I pay for with our tax money all along the border have been birthing these babies, and they're American citizens, and many times they go to communist lands or whatever, and they're raised as a communist, and they come back here and they can vote in our elections. That's how the commies are taken over.
Right.
And that and many other things, government schools teaching them to be commies and all that kind of stuff, media, music, and movies teaching them to be commies. But this is a big deal. And so the president said yesterday, he tweeted, "American citizenship is not for sale. In fact, that is a crime, and therefore the Supreme Court's ruling is wrong. I will be asking for a rehearing by the United States Supreme Court immediately. This miscarriage of justice will destroy America if they don't change their absolutely insane decision. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald John Trump." He's absolutely right. That was the wrong decision. They interpreted the 14th Amendment absolutely incorrectly, 1,000,000% incorrectly. And they did it on purpose. It was done by two who were supposed to be, quote, conservatives. But again, like John Roberts did with Obamacare in 2010, he rewrote the law. He rewrote an amendment to the Constitution with his cohort in crime there, and they came up with this. They twisted the law and the Constitution to make it sound like something they wanted it to sound like. And this is what you get. This is the result. Hospitals advertising, come in here, $39.50, have the child here. It'll be $27 before you know it,
Well, Alito mentioned that, you're discounting the real world impact of this because there are nations that want people to be born here for nefarious reasons, for bad reasons. And you really can't separate that out, especially when you look at the original intention of the amendment, which was about naturalizing slaves, essentially. So isn't Governor Abbott trying to do something at the state level as far as preventing this?
Brian Harrison has called for an immediate special session of the ledge to make it a felony to do birthright, to do this birther stuff in the state
at the
of
state
Texas.
level, right,
at the state level, because that's what's as of right now, unless the Supreme Court says they're going to rehear this, which they never do.
They're not going to
come back.
I doubt. Do you believe in any way, shape, or form they're actually going to rehear this case?
Of course not. Of course not.
No, they knew that when they knew he would appeal and wanted to be reheard, but they know they're not going to do that.
They're not going to rehear it.
No.
So you're stuck with it, and you're stuck with people who do not respect this country, who give two spits about this country, coming in here and having children here so that they're American citizens and they can continue to rip us off. Sorry if that hurts your feelings, it steps on your toes, but it's an absolute fact. They're here to rip us off.
Well,
they're not here to do good.
Well, yeah, the Democrats need him to vote.
Well, of course, but they're also here to steal from you.
They're also here to steal. I was looking at this, the rip-off of to the tune of $230 million across the country with the school systems.
Government
K through
schools.
12, government public schools. They're just getting ripped off left and right. The anchor baby folks, all of them. It's all a big rip-off. But what gets me is the hypocrisy. And, again, we keep coming back to that word, whether we're talking about our Supreme Court justices or the Democratic Party in general, in that what do they preach constantly? We suck, we're oppressive, we're colonials, we're racist, we're phobic, we're xenophobic, transphobic. But everybody has a right to come and live here, and everybody should be able to come and live here and get a better life. Well, what's the better life they're getting if we suck so bad?
Well, and the thing that they're mad at Donald Trump about is he's making it a better place for everybody, and he's destroying their decades of hard work. For all of my life, 63 years on this planet, the Democrat Party and using the Supreme Court have worked at destroying this country from within. And quite frankly, it was really clear yesterday when I was talking about Iran, the Democrats don't care. They don't care if America is destroyed either from these commies from within, okay, or a nuke that comes out of Iran and lands here in San Antonio, Texas. They don't care as long as the ends justify the means, which is the destruction of this country. And they have worked for decades, over 60 years, to bring that about through the schools, through the media, through music, through movies, and everything else to bring about the destruction of this country. And so that's why they're pissed at Donald Trump. That's why they have TDS, because he's coming along. He's reversing all of their hard work. 6 decades they have worked at this.
Well, and the idea is to destroy it and replace it with something other. You know, they want to build something in its place, and that's the overall evil plot. I think we're all pretty aware of that.
Absolutely, but they have been working at it for over 60 years, and so here comes a guy, and in less than a year, he's got it back on track, and they're like, 60 years up in smoke.
Well,
can't believe it.
And he's given a new rise to patriotism. You know, that was plainly obvious over the July 4th holiday. A lot of people are learning to love this country again and are feeling comfortable about expressing their love of their country, which during the Obama years and even the Biden years, boy, you didn't do that. You didn't talk about how great this country was.
Oh, you talked the opposite.
You said the exact opposite.
You did what Mamdani did on July 3rd.
God, yeah.
You do what he did on July 3rd. And he took that right out of the Obama playbook, by the way. Obama would have been very comfortable giving that Mamdani speech on July 3rd.
Yeah.
But let me give you another example. Barack Obama appointed this judge, Suknanan, and, of course, she ruled against President Trump's executive action on the SAVE Act. Now, this is different than the Save America Act. It's called the SAVE Act. And what it does is it says it states, go to your voter rolls and purge the voter rolls of illegal aliens. So Suknanan said, nope, states can't do that. They can't purge the voter rolls of illegal aliens. Now, think about that for a minute. In the United States of America, she, as a federal judge, is saying, nope, you cannot check the voter rolls to see if there's illegal aliens on there. So she's a plant.
Meaning they don't want you knowing how many illegal aliens are on
those rolls. Well, of course they want illegal aliens to vote.
Right.
But here's the point. She's not even from this country, and Obama put her on the federal court. So she hands down that ruling. This is what I'm saying about Donald Trump reversing 60 years of their hard work. Now he comes in with another judge, this Kenneth Marshall, I believe is his name. Anyway, I can't remember his name right now. But that judge reversed Suknanan yesterday.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So now states can check the voter rolls to see if there's illegal aliens on there. But that's what I'm saying, that they're mad at Donald Trump for. For 65 years, they've been doing that kind of crap to destroy the country. He comes in and reverses all of that with his appointments and his executive actions and all that.
That's absolutely why they hate him, because he's been trying to ruin the cheat for them.
Blowing up their work.
And their whole idea of, the Great Revolution, he's kind of kicking the bricks out from underneath it just by being Donald Trump, and they hate his guts for it. They hate his guts for it. And I, he obviously, and JD was as well, they're talking a lot about, they're using the actual C word, communism, and I don't think you can really overstate the actual threat this is.
It's huge
to this country.
They got a guy
because they're winning elections. They're winning primaries.
They got a guy that is an out-and-out Muslim communist, and he's worse than Mamdani, who is going to win the Democrat primary in Michigan. Now,
I saw that.
Hamid Dillon is sending a whole bunch of folks up there to observe that race because in Michigan they've had all kinds of voter fraud for years in Michigan. And so she's sending a whole bunch of folks up there, and they will prosecute, she says, if there's any kind of voter fraud or anything that goes wrong in this election. But that's the point, is that they have been working so hard for so long to put these – and I've been calling them communists since I've been on the radio, and people used to call me McCarthy Jr. I mean, I literally was called that because I said there's commies out there everywhere. They want to take over the country. And sure enough, here they are. Now they feel bold enough to come out and do it and say, that's what I am.
Well, and they're winning.
That's right.
They're winning in some of these places. And I think it was Riccardi I heard before I took a day off. He was talking about, if you don't think it's a threat, these folks winning these elections, look at how many DAs have been placed. Look at how many prosecutors have been placed already by the very same people. We're just talking about a judge now, an Obama-appointed judge. So if they could, in other words,
it's not even from America.
The implication, right? The implication being, well, if they can do that, they sure as hell can start taking over these municipalities across the country.
Well, when I say 65 years, Sean, it took that long for the government schools to put this into the brains of people to make it acceptable.
Right.
Because 65 years ago, and even 70 years ago, when McCarthy was talking about this, when he was having his trials, that was he's crazy. There are no communists here. You can't be calling people communists. It actually people used to sue you if you called them a communist.
Oh, sure.
Now they get mad if you don't call them a communist. So that's where we are.
At least they're out in the open. I actually appreciate that they're out in the open now.
But it took that long for the schools to educate people that communism is a good thing, and for media to do it, and movies to do it, and music to do it. All this stuff. The culture has been teaching people now for over 65 years communism is acceptable, and that's why we are where we are today with actual commies winning elections across
Actual communists, yes, they are. So
River City Oral Surgery is for you. That's Dr. Mark Havercorn and his great team over there. If you've been talking about full mouth dental implants, and I hope maybe you have, if you got missing or broken teeth, I can tell you they can help you with that. Whether it's one or two implants that you're looking for or an entire mouth, they can handle that at River City Oral Surgery. And there's no games and no gimmicks and no upsells. In fact, they don't have any salespeople at all. Nobody like that at all that works for them. They have health care professionals that are ready to go to work for you. If you have bad teeth, let me tell you something. A lot of people are embarrassed and they won't go to the doctor because they feel like the doctor is going to harass them about it and all that. Don't worry about that. That's not going to happen at River City Oral Surgery. They're really sweet, sweet people. They offer you clear, upfront pricing on their website, so you can just log on, rivercityoms.com. You can see what it's going to cost you to go in there and have these procedures done. Full mouth dental implants, removal of wisdom teeth, one or two implants, whatever it is you need. But don't worry. They're not going to try to upsell you. They're not going to twist your arm behind your back. What you see online is the price, and that's the price you're going to pay when you see our friends at River City Oral Surgery. Log on today, rivercityoms.com. Mostly sunny and hot, high of 96. Rain chances coming up this weekend, 75 now KTSA. That's amazing. It's a 750 KTSA with Ware and Rima. That was Alexa doing the Pledge of Allegiance. The Alexa.
Oh, really?
Have you noticed now she sounds, that was, I don't know how long ago that was. We recorded that 10 years ago, something like that. She is so personalized now. This is the AI thing.
Right.
The voice now doesn't sound like that.
How do you mean?
Huh?
How do you mean?
She was real staccato there, and obviously a computer, obviously an AI, voice. Now today, if you
now
talk
she's
to,
nice, she's got personality.
you can choose the personality for your.
I like that.
You can. And so we were playing with it one day on the Alexa app. You can choose a smart-ass girl.
No, I'm already married to a smart-ass girl. I don't want my computer
anyway, go
to be
ahead.
a smart-ass girl.
That just shocked me because that's the old Alexa today. She sounds like a human being.
Hey, at least Siri is taller than Alexa.
Well, a little bit. Yeah, I don't want no computers talking to me in my house. Somebody gave me one of those years ago for a birthday present or something, and I just gave it away to somebody else. I said, absolutely not. I don't want it in my house. I just don't. I find it weird. I find people talking to AI weird. I just do. And I see it every day now where people are walking in with their phones and they're talking to AI and AI is responding. Sure, let me get that for you. And it's weird to me.
I've never done it.
I don't talk to it.
Have you ever even done?
No.
I haven't
I
talked
do
to
AI, but I don't talk to it. I don't say thank you.
Elaine, you?
No.
Yeah, I've never done it. I don't have anything to talk to is what it is.
I think the talking to it is weird.
No one can be more street and smartass than me.
There you go. Anyway, another story that, in fact, Fox was just doing a piece on this. I don't know if you guys hit this one yesterday or when this story broke. But you have this Milwaukee County judge, Hannah Dugan. What were we just talking about? What were we just talking about? And
the party without principles.
In the spring of this past year, she had a guy, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, I believe is his name, who was a guy who was there on a DV charge, and ICE wanted him for a number of reasons. ICE at that point at this particular courthouse were picking up people that they had, detainers on and needed to get their hands on. And this judge, Hannah Dugan, who was facing felony charges for this, first off, she wouldn't let the ICE officers into her courtroom. And we've seen the video where she actually walked this guy out of the courthouse through a little-known hallway where they move, I guess, sensitive people.
Her. It's the judge's door off to the side that leads to her chambers.
And got him out of there.
Led him through her
showing
chambers.
The security footage on TV. And I like Breitbart had it encapsulated perfectly with her headline, Elite Federal Judge gives Elite Federal Judge no jail time for that. She got a fine she has to pay for $5,000.
Meaning a Democrat judge gave another Democrat judge a pass for breaking federal law of felony.
So, when we talk about what are you really up against in this country when you're fighting sort of the plague of illegal aliens coming and committing all kinds of crimes, or you're fighting the judges sitting on the bench, you're fighting the local city councils and sheriff's offices that aren't going to cooperate with ICE. I mean, she walked a guy down a hall to get him out of there. And she faces nothing more than, a small fine.
Not only did she walk him down the hall, then she came up to distract the ICE agents and confronted once she let him out, she went over and distracted the ICE agents and confronted them face to face and told them they couldn't go look for him.
So
she impeded an officer of the law.
Right. And again, these judges are all across the country.
Well,
we've talked about the most power. You and I have talked in previous times about, okay, our judicial system has been littered, has been poisoned with activist judges who are appointed to do one thing and one thing only, which is this kind of stuff. And who are the more powerful people in the country right now? The President of the United States? Head of the Senate? Or is it like some federal judge sitting in some district where, these things are decided?
If you believe that this is the only judge who did this in the past year and a half, you're nuts.
She's the one that got caught.
That's correct. There's many others who pulled this same nonsense. And here's the thing about it. They're fine with these guys coming across the border because Biden let them in, Obama, and they raped people, not all of them, but they raped people, they killed people, and all of those things. Sheridan Gorman, we just talked about her this morning, okay, was killed allegedly by an illegal alien who shot her in the head because she was going to go look at the Northern Lights. So they're fine with that. But if you took a selfie on January 6th a few years ago, you were to go to prison for the rest of your stinking life. See who these people are?
Well, they're horrible hypocrites, and unfortunately, they're well-protected hypocrites. And yeah, so a federal judge, I just love that Breitbart headline, elite federal judge gives elite federal judge no jail time for committing a felony, essentially. And again, we have no idea to what extent this is really going on across the country.
Well, it's huge.
And again, when you start arguing, I think about Jessica Gorman. You mentioned the Gorman girl. Her mom testified last week. It was so powerful because she was saying just that. Why don't you look me in the eye and tell me why the lives of illegal aliens who come here and commit crimes are more important than my child? Because for this judge, both of these judges, they are.
Well, the other day,
they are more important than your kid.
And that's right. And the other day, I read a letter from the mayor of San Antonio to DHS, and she said, we don't want the ICE facility here. I'm going to do everything I can to stand in the way and to block the ICE facility from being here. So the mayor of San Antonio, has decided she's going to do everything she can to impede the lawful removal of illegal aliens from the United States of America, people who broke federal law. And as a person who supposedly served in the federal government in the Air Force, right? Because she was undersecretary in the Air Force, she's making a decision to say, federal law be damned. I don't care what federal law is. I'm not going to allow these people to be dismissed from America, and I'll stand in the way. I'm not going to let you build a facility here. She's not the only person in power, Democrats across the country. Like Donald Trump said on July 4th, you can either be a patriot or a commie. You can't be both.
Right.
You can't be a commie and be a patriot.
Yeah, but let's look at Ortiz Jones. I just was looking at a UTSA poll of the people that bothered to vote in this county. She's still, half the people in this town still think she's doing a great job.
That's right, because San Antonio is all blue.
Right.
San Antonio flipped a long time ago. It's not a conservative place.
Right.
Bexar County's not a conservative town. You watch. Ron Nirenberg is going to take over as county judge. If you don't vote Patrick Von Dolan, he's going to take over as county judge. And this place is fried, y'all. You go get a U-Haul. Get the biggest U-Haul you can find. Get ready to leave, because he's going to ruin Bexar County like she's ruining San Antonio.
He ruined San Antonio. Exactly. I was going to say.
Don't have to wait for her.
What he did. We already know what he's going to do if he becomes county judge.
The reason she's so popular is San Antonio has been lost for a long time, and the crime and everything that's going on here, you're looking at another Chicago. It's San Frantonio.
Well, and I was talking to my buddy Randy about this. You look at the crime and the homelessness and the problems have extended to every corner of the town.
It's everywhere.
Okay, there's no neighborhood that's not seeing this stuff now.
Nope.
Including ours. We talk about it all the time.
It is everywhere. Okay, we're coming right back. More Ware and Rima, KTSA. Well, how about we do some quick hits here? I want to get some quick hits out the way. I guess I'll start with a kind of an offbeat little story here.
Sure.
Because we'll get to all this other stuff about Iran and Prattner and all that other stuff. We'll get back to that in a few minutes. So if you're taking flying lessons and you're flying along as the student pilot and sitting next to you is your instructor, okay? That's how that works, right? And you just ride along, the instructor's watching what you're doing and making sure it's all good. Then the instructor undoes his seatbelt and he turns to you and he says, hey, you know what to do. And then the instructor opens the door and jumps out the airplane. And no parachute or anything. He wanted to do himself in, so he went out spectacularly. And thank goodness, I guess the student pilot had enough airtime, seat time, where he knew how to land the airplane because he did get down safely.
And he was a young guy, right? How old was he, like 21 or 22 or something?
Yes. I had a great instructor, and he would have never done anything like that, obviously. But I guess this guy just wanted to go out in a blaze of glory, and he did, you know.
Yeah, but you're kind of screwing everybody else
well,
over
yeah, you
on
are.
the plane, man. It's like, couldn't you just, go jump off a building or something and not involve a plane full of people?
Well, no, there's only one guy. It was just the guy.
You're involving somebody else.
But you're endangering the people on the ground. First of all, your body's falling. You don't know what you're going to land on down there. But secondly, the guy didn't know how to land the airplane. He could have crashed the airplane. So, whatever. But it's just a weird story.
Hey, flight or that's that moment where you gotta rise to the occasion.
Yes,
your life's gonna be over real quick.
Yes.
And apparently he did.
Yes, he did.
Literally adapt or die.
Adapt or die. That's what he had to do very, very quickly,
exactly
man.
Right.
Wow.
All right, Jennifer Lewis. She a big star. She's some sort of
Jennifer Lewis.
She's a big Hollywood star or something.
I have no idea who she is.
Okay, Jennifer Lewis is a star apparently in
Let me
Hollywood.
look her up.
Yeah,
Jennifer
please
Lewis.
go ahead and Will you do the Googles?
Let me Google her. Jennifer Lewis.
Lewis. Yes.
See what AI has to say about
Right. Maybe there's some sort of movie she's been in or something.
Jennifer Lewis.
Is it coming up?
She was a backup singer for Bette Midler.
Oh, okay. So she's a Hollywood star.
I guess.
She's
I
been
have
in
no
movies,
idea.
TV, and all that stuff. All right, anyway, she put out a video, since I'm doing a little offbeat thing here, and this is what she says in the video about President Donald John Trump. She's shaking her head. It's a tight shot on her face. She sighs, and then she says,
"Stop killing our children."
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention she's black.
Yeah, she's black.
Okay, here we go.
Son of a bitch.
What's that? Say it again.
Stop killing our children, son of a bitch. We don't care if you think you're rich. We love our children and the color of their skin, and we're getting tired of being called as the next of kin. You twisted monsters are going too far. Don't you know your own children will suffer if you keep magnifying this civil war?
Damn.
Yeah, that's kind of frightening, isn't it? She's a little. First of all, she says Donald Trump is killing black children, and that you quit killing our children, or your children are going to suffer if you keep magnifying the Civil War. I just want to make sure we're clear on who's magnifying the Civil War here. First of all, look in the mirror. You are magnifying the Civil War. Okay, you, ma'am, are trying to bring about a race war in this country with that little video that you just made right there. That's number one. Number two, when you look at Al Sharpton and before him the late Jesse Jackson and the others who have been nothing but race baiters and haters of white people in this country for one reason and one reason only. Not to stand up for black folk, but to make money. That's why Jesse Jackson did what he did. That's why Al Sharpton does what he does today. It makes him a crap ton of money to make sure, and Barack Obama's the same way. Barack Obama's in the same camp. You got to stir up this whole racial stuff between blacks and whites and all these others in this country. Otherwise, you ain't got a leg to stand on to make money. Donald Trump hadn't killed the first black child yet. Hadn't happened. In fact, he's elevated a lot of black children and black women such as yourself. Shut your mouth.
Meanwhile, if you're a white Nazi who actually doesn't like black people, will vote for you in Maine. So that makes a lot of sense.
Well,
I'm looking up her filmography. It's all scattered stuff that I've never heard of. She's voiced some, cartoon movies and stuff like that. She also says in an interview, it just popped up when I literally did a general Google search on her. She admitted in an interview a few years ago that she's got bipolar disorder.
Well, there you go.
She slept with 63 men.
She's been engaged 4 times, but never married.
Never
She's
engaged
been
4 times.
Slept with 63 men?
She says 63 men as a result of her bipolar disorder.
But again, as you just said, you know what? You got a guy with a Nazi tattoo on his boob who hates black people. Well, vote for him because he needs to be the next senator. She's fine with that. This is this is the party without principle right there in your face.
Well, again, they've been calling Donald Trump a Nazi rapist for over a decade. They get an actual alleged Nazi rapist, and they want to vote the guy into the Senate.
Well, and this is what else she's doing here. Okay. The whole thing about calling him Hitler is putting a target on Donald Trump.
Sure.
Okay, is putting a target on him, and now you're telling a bunch of black people out there, however many people watch this thing, that Donald Trump is killing black children. What do you think people are going to want to do?
I got to save the black kids and kill this guy.
That's right. I got to kill him before he kills my kid. And that's exactly what, apparently, in my view, my humble opinion, that's what she's attempting to do.
Oh, I agree.
Is you got a dog whistle, baby, and you got to blow it really hard.
Sure. She's doing it in that very intense, overly dramatic,
Yes.
I'm tired of black children being
I'm just,
killed
I am sick and tired of these people
No more black children should die.
continue to put this stuff out there, intentionally trying to fire somebody up to go take a hit on President Trump. That's enough of this crap. You people need to just cool it. Quit it. You're going to get the man killed if you don't. And I know that's your intent. Stop it right now.
Well, that's the thing, though. They don't give a crap what guys like you and I say. They don't give a crap about people who don't agree with them politically anyway.
Then hold them accountable.
They know that we know what's going on.
Hold them accountable then.
They know that we guys, people like us, know what's going on. They don't care because they're playing to stupid people.
Hold them accountable. Somebody goes caps the president for that video, hold her accountable. Go do it. Start doing that crap. We have to start pulling that. Otherwise, they're going to keep it up until somebody else climbs on a building somewhere and takes a shot at it.
Absolutely they will, but like I said, I don't see him walking away from that playbook anytime soon. That's like a cornerstone of everything they say in public is that he's Hitler, he's a racist,
let me
he's
ask
a
you
homophobe.
a question. Mr. Wise One, let me ask you a question. Why is this all coming from the left? You don't ever hear anybody on the right. You don't hear MAGA people going, you know, that Chuck Schumer guy, he's out there killing white children. Let's go. You don't hear that.
Here's why, okay? And Spencer out in California proved this. All Republicans and conservatives have to do is say, look around. All we have to say is repeat their own words back at them. We don't have to threaten anybody. We have no desire to threaten anybody. Okay, the policies speak for themselves. They got nothing. They got no policy they can run on. They got no plan they can run on.
Of course not.
So the only thing left to them is to demonize their political opponents and very often describing their political opponents as who they actually are.
Well, right. And trying to fire somebody up in their camp who's got a screw loose to go out and take a shot at your opponent. Because you can't run against him, honestly. You can't beat him at the polls. You can't beat him in an election. So just make sure somebody goes and kills him. But my point is, you don't see this coming from the right.
No, you don't.
You don't see a white guy out there saying, go put a bullet in Hakeem. Hakeem is killing your kids. You don't hear that.
But we made it on various hate group lists during the Biden administration.
Of course.
We're the white supremacists. We're the most dangerous people in the country.
Of course.
There's never an act of violence coming from our side. In fact, when we take to the streets, we tend to pick up the garbage we leave behind. They got none of that. All they have is threatening people. All they have is demonizing people. They got nothing else to sell. And again, when you're preaching to stupid people will glom right onto that because everybody wants a villain to hate. It goes back to the whole concept of narcissism we were talking about.
I don't want to hate anybody.
It all goes back to the idea of narcissism, collective narcissism we were describing at the beginning of the show, and that it's always somebody else's fault. And so a good narcissist needs a bad guy, and for them it's Donald Trump.
Well, let me catch everybody up to speed on that because that's how we started this morning, and AI wouldn't let me put that up. But what I said was the Democrat Party are nothing but narcissistic sociopaths. That's the whole party, and Graham Plattner is their poster boy for their party. They're a party without principles. The only thing that they can do at this point is try to get Donald Trump killed, and that's why they say things like they say. You know, Greg Gutfeld started that a long time ago. You call him Hitler enough, somebody's going to want to take out Hitler. Now he's killing black children, and your kids are going to suffer if you keep that up. What do you think somebody's going to do when you say that crap?
And what has happened after every single attempt on the man's life? What happened after Charlie Kirk's assassination? What do you hear? What do you hear? They brought it on themselves. Donald Trump's hateful rhetoric is what led to this. Charlie Kirk's hateful rhetoric is what led to his assassination.
We got to make this break, but here's what I told her yesterday, because all that stuff was coming from Donald Trump. I'm number one on the hit list. I may not be around that much longer. I'm going to fly home in a different airplane. He was saying all that stuff yesterday. Obviously, the man has received more information. And I said to Elaine when we were talking about it yesterday, I said, they better pray nothing happens to him before the midterms, because that will fire up people just like it did after Butler, Pennsylvania, with fight. And he steamrolled to victory after that. That's when Elon got involved, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And Elon bought his truck full of money and said, that's the reason I got involved, when I saw him say fight. And they're attempting to do something now prior to the midterms, and it's going to cost them big. It's going to cost them
that's what makes it so silly that's what they ultimately want.
But it's all they got.
Like, do you think that'll help you?
It's all they got. What are they going to do? Hey, we're the party that wants to mutilate children for tranny stuff.
Right. No, they can't sell what they got, so this is all they have.
We continue in a minute. KTSA. Mostly sunny, hot today, 96 for the high. Rain chances this weekend, 78 now. KTSA. KTSA.
I forgot something that happened the other night that I was going to bring up on the radio. I was off yesterday. My buddy paid for us to go see the Monty Python show, Spam-A-Lot, at the Tobin Center. And I'd mentioned a little while ago that, I didn't know much about the show. I'm a huge Monty Python fan, have been my whole life, so I was kind of curious to see it. Again, as my buddy Randy explained it, neither one of our wives is a Monty Python fan, and so we had to go together, just he and I. And it was a very good show. It's very gay. It's much more gay than I realized. And I remember there was a controversy a number of years ago with Spam-A-Lot where a high school was going to do a theater club production of Spam-A-Lot, and parents started screaming and yelling. I think you and I may have even talked about it on the air at that time, and it turns out there's a gay wedding in Spam-A-Lot. And, the show was good. It was a very good show. There was a lot of talent on that stage, but it took me a little while to realize that one of the things about the show is that it's actually making fun of Broadway musicals. It's actually a satire on musicals, and there's a lot of gay people in musical theater, Broadway musical theater. So I really enjoyed the show, but something happened before we went in. And this is the first time I've experienced this, where, both of us are getting older, so you gotta hit the bathroom a little more than you used to. And I'm getting ready to walk into the bathroom. There's a lot of people around. And I see what appears to be a woman in a skirt go into the men's room. And I stopped for a second because I'd never been here. I wasn't sure if I was accidentally about to walk into the woman's, ladies' room or whatever. I stopped. I was like, oh, wow, is that the men's room? I look up, yeah, sure as hell, it's the men's room. And so I go in, and there's a bunch of dudes in there. The showtime is coming up in about 10 minutes. And sure enough, this was the first time I experienced a man who was dressed absolutely like a woman. And on first glance, you would think this was a female. In a men's room, obviously a biological male who, went into a men's room, but by all, by first glance, is dressed like a woman, looks like a woman. And I didn't care. I mean, nobody else gave a crap. I'm like, well, it doesn't bother me. I don't give a crap. I got stuff to do in here before I could see the show. But I will say that the person who was in there dressed like a woman did seem uncomfortable. Like, it didn't seem like this person was all that comfortable being in there. And in my opinion, I'm like, well, but you're the one putting yourself in this situation. None of us give a crap. I don't give a crap what you look like. I got a little confused at first because I was making sure I wasn't walking into the wrong bathroom because, frankly, I have done that. And
back when you were drinking, you don't drink anymore, so it doesn't happen.
No, I never did that when I was drunk. No,
Do they have stalls? Or?
They got stalls, and the guy went into a stall. And it was just it was just something interesting to observe.
Well,
in that the only person who seemed to be uncomfortable with any of it was him.
Well, what would have happened if he went into the ladies, though?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, like, this is it was kind of indicative of the whole trans trip to me in general. Yeah. In that you're claiming that everybody else is making you feel uncomfortable, but in the situation I was in, nobody was making this person uncomfortable. And yet the person seemed uncomfortable. Well, you know what I mean?
Well, sure, because they have to. That's their excuse for wanting to use the other bathroom. But it's not. He used the bathroom that coincide with his birth, right? I mean, he's a guy.
It's kind of interesting. It's the first time I've ever been in that situation, and it's like the only person that seems to be weird about this is you. Nobody else sure. cared. Not you, but I mean the dude.
Yeah.
And kind of a hot young lady, actually.
I was going to say, you said you couldn't tell.
Well, I could not at first glance. And I really did think I'm about to walk into the wrong men's room.
How did you ultimately tell the difference that it was a guy and not a girl?
Facially, just tell. And plus she, him, shim was in the men's room. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be a biological woman strolling into a men's room for no reason, dressed like a woman. Well, maybe you've experienced it. I'm sorry. I'm naive again. I guess Trey has experienced this all over the place, but this was my first time.
Sean, that's not what I'm saying.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
I've been to concert. Wait a minute. Let me explain that. I've been to concerts at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas, and maybe Jimmy can back me up on this. Maybe Elaine can. You go in the men's room. The girls' room is full.
Oh, right.
And girls would come in the men's room and use the men's room on it. I've been there.
Well, we had Miss Ree here.
Well, yeah, that's a different story. Miss Ree was
there. That was an actual trans.
And went completely and totally, across the river. Yeah.
But this was obviously some dude who is living as a woman going into the men's room, being biologically proper or whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
yeah,
again, apart from a little confusion on my part as to make sure I'm not going in the wrong restroom.
Yeah,
nobody gave a crap. It wasn't a big deal,
right?
Now, I'm thinking about that case that came out a couple of weeks ago with the guy with his young daughter in the gas station bathroom, and the other guy came in and started screaming his brains out. I'm sure people are just waiting for the next thing to happen in the bathroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I don't feel like I'm treated properly or somebody's in there who shouldn't be in there. But in this situation, nobody cared.
No.
Nobody cared at all.
No. And if they're kids, like this, what we were describing happened at the QT, those were kids. You take kids in the opposite bathroom all the time.
Right.
They're little children like that, of course. And so that was an insane case of somebody who was just being a total jerk. But if you're going to the right one, you got the right body parts that match the picture.
Right.
You're good.
Yeah, so it was it was the first time I've ever experienced that, and it was just kind of an interesting little moment. Seeing this person go into a bathroom and obviously living as a woman.
Had you seen trannies in public before?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was in the theater for a while, Trey. I've been around all kinds of
I just been out in public when you go to restaurants and stuff like that.
You see people, yeah. I mean, especially downtown. But, this was my first bathroom adventure with somebody living as the opposite gender.
Did you capture a selfie? Do you have a selfie we can...
Of the tranny? No. Hey,
come
dude,
here. Shoot
I got to get a picture of you, man. Come on, we got to produce content constantly. Can we do a short form video?
Can we do a video?
Can we do a video?
I need to
do a video
this.
for my radio station in here?
There you go. All right, more Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA.
Guests of Ware and Rima appear via the Stevens Roofing Newsmaker Hotline.
One of the best.
Great movie, too.
1980. Can you believe
The
it's
Wall?
Yeah.
It was 1979.
Well, yeah.
That's when we all had the album, and we're all playing it on our little home LP players.
Believe it's been that long?
Yeah.
We were talking about Bill McManus yesterday. Chief of police here for 20 years went like that.
Yeah.
20 years went like that.
I didn't watch it, but I saw he was on with Pags, and I've never seen Bill McManus not in his uniform.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize the guy in sweats and a ball cap.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh, that's Bill McManus.
I think he got rid of all his uniforms because he was on, I think, Channel 4 last night, and he had shorts on, T-shirt.
I've never seen him not in the uniform.
Yeah.
Good on him, man. Yeah. He's happy, man.
Yeah. He wears his shorts and a T-shirt when he grills and a ball cap.
Yeah,
it looks like the rest of us when he grills. He's not grilling in his uniform.
But it's so funny because I've just never seen the guy in regular clothes.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him if it's what he wants, and he's gonna be doing security work, I think.
But he'll be back as chief of police in a couple of months.
You think so?
He's done did this one time when he went to CBS.
He did. That's right.
Jesse Salome is the one that's taken over as of Saturday, right?
Yeah.
He's a cool guy.
I got the campaign ABJ, so ABJ is the campaign that we've been pushing.
I don't know much about him. Is he a good guy, or what do we think about him?
No, he seems to be all right. He's worked with Bill for the whole time Bill's been here. He's worked with Bill.
Right.
He's a good guy.
He's a 26-year veteran.
Right.
And the whole time, Bill got him in as a detective, and then promoted him to sergeant, and promoted him to captain, and on up the ranks. And then he's been Bill's PIO and assistant chief for, I don't know, gosh,
I guess
10 years now.
He has
like
the same mannerisms. You're not going to see him on TikTok.
No.
You're not going to see him doing those kind of
videos
things.
in his kitchen. You're not going to see that.
One of the things that Bill said yesterday was he's not going to skip a beat. He's ready.
Right.
Which my ABJ is anybody but Javier. Because he was pitching for that job real bad, and so
right.
This is a better choice if it ends up being Salome. Now he's got to go through the process, the hiring process, and he's got to be anointed by Eric Walsh, who will be his boss, and so on and so forth. I think does City Council vote on that? I don't remember.
I don't know.
I don't remember if they vote on that, but he works for Eric Walsh. So. Which means he works for Cheryl Scully, who's still pulling the string behind the strings. You know what I mean?
Perhaps.
Now, President Trump on Air Force One, that's now Air Force 2 or Air Force 6, whatever it was, because he kept talking all day yesterday. And Sean, this time yesterday morning, he spent like 2.5 hours on TV yesterday morning.
Yeah.
But he had spent all night on TV, too.
Right.
Because he had talked with Zelensky sitting next to him, and he talked with Root sitting next to him. I mean, he was going on and on and on. And one continuing theme, he kept talking about Iran, and I'll play some of that here in a minute. But one continuing theme was his life is in danger, the president is, and that he's number one on the hit list, and I may not be here that much longer. He said that over and over again to the point where it's alarming to me to hear him say that. I even did a video, Pray for the President, because obviously he got some intel that's telling him the threat level's high. And the first time he talked about sending Air Force One through Europe and him catching another flight, he connected it with that. He said, because we've got these threats, so I'm going to catch another ride home.
Well, it was later on that the story kind of changed and it became about a tour for the European bases.
Which is clearly
plane.
A cover story.
Right.
I mean, clearly that's not true.
Right.
The first thing that he said was true. Go with what the first thing somebody says.
Well, especially him.
Well, exactly. But anytime, because obviously somebody got to him and said, you need to clean that up. You need to clean that up. You can't stick with that. I was telling Elaine, we were texting yesterday, I really thought what was going to happen was that there was going to be one of those gray military planes, and you're going to have about a half a dozen or more leave over there at the same time, and you don't know which one he's on. They do that with Marine One. When he lands, and this has been going on forever with presidents, Marine One, when you see it land on the lawn at the White House, there's 3 of them that actually fly up, and you never know which one he's in. So one time he'll be in the middle one, the next time he'll be on the right one, the next time he'll be on the left one. You never know. And so at the last minute, all 3 will fly up, and at the last minute, 2 of them peel off, and the one that he's in sets down. That's to keep them from launching. Did you know that?
I was joking with you yesterday saying that they're going to put everybody in a Spirit Airlines.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's, incognito. You never know. But anyway, he changed that to say, no, we just wanted to give it a tour of Europe. Right. We wanted to give a tour of that airplane to Europe and let everybody see it. And then he gets on Air Force One, and he's headed home, and he was asked about, Why did they tell us to put the shades
They
up?
had us close our window blinds. That was not usual.
Well, yeah, because you're, probably on a dangerous flight because of the sleazebags that we have to deal with.
So you think that Iran was possibly thinking of trying
Well, I mean, if they ask you to close your windows, probably they feel that way. They didn't ask me to close mine, but
They didn't ask me to close mine, but they asked all those people to close their windows so that they would be basically stealth flying home, and the people that would want to do them harm couldn't see them.
Who hasn't Donald Trump pissed off in his time in office?
Me?
Well, apart from people who support him.
Yeah.
Other countries, drug cartels, gangs, traffickers. Again, other countries.
Well, of course, he's talking about Iran, but also the Democrats. And again, I'll go back to what we were talking about last hour. For 65 years, the Democrats have been working to destroy this country from within. And now he's erasing all of their hard work for 65 years, and he's flipping it upside down. And they're pissed.
Well, a lot of people are, and I thought it was interesting when he brought, and he's done this before, where he brings up the mortality rate of different occupations. He says being president is actually one of the most dangerous jobs. I think the mortality percentage was like 5-point-something%. And I thought of you because he brought up race car drivers. Race car drivers is like 1.64%. Okay, bull riders, that's pretty dangerous, huh? 1-point-something%. Presidents, 5%. Now, we've only had a limited number of presidents, so it's all relative, but still, it's a fair point that when you're the president of the United States, especially if you're an effective president of the United States, and you're tipping over a lot of bingo tables along the way, and I think you know what I mean by that reference, you're going to piss some people off, and certainly the Iranians want him dead. A lot of people want him dead. So, yeah, he's got a massive target on his back.
Some people within your own government.
Within your own government.
So that happened in Dallas, Texas a long time ago. Here he is.
We just hit him very hard, and I say we hit him 20-1. Every time they hit us, we're going to hit them 20. And we did it last night. They did a little something today, but it was really retribution for last night. They hit actually 3 boats, not 2.
So he's talking about how, while he was in the air, as a matter of fact, 90 targets were hit in Iran, air defense systems, drone storage sites, military infrastructure. Iran said... This is great. Iran said there's a hard slap coming.
Oh, boy.
There's a hard slap coming. Then he said this. You never know which is the reality. He said this about Iran.
We have many ways we can win, but we've already won militarily. They have very little. They have very little left, and they want to make a deal so badly. They called a little while ago. They want to make a deal so badly. I just don't know if they're worthy of making a deal. I don't know that they're going to honor the deal. That's the problem.
Well, first of all, again, they don't want to make a deal. They've been there for 47 years. They've never wanted to make a deal, and these guys don't want to make a deal either. You can't deal with these guys. That's not in their playbook. But it's just funny when they're sitting there saying, a hard slap is coming for what you're doing to us, and he's saying, they just called. They want to make a deal. Like, okay,
well,
which is it?
Apparently they're full of crap. We've had different moments like that where they're saying something completely different publicly than what everybody is claiming is going on behind the scenes.
He talked about that quite a bit yesterday. He said, we'd have an agreement on the nukes.
Yeah.
And then they'd come out and go, we didn't even talk about nukes in there. What does he mean by that? And, of course, they want him dead. They want to continue the way things are. They want to develop the nuke. They have another mountain that they have been working on. So we've only destroyed a couple of the mountains where the nuke stuff's been going on. They have one more where they have been continuing their processing right now, and we know where it is. And it's time that we go wipe it out.
I think it's time to finish the job.
It's 100%. It's time to end this right stinking now. It was time when he started this. We should have rolled through there and eliminated this regime then. We shouldn't have quit.
Well, he blew up a couple of bridges last night, so he seems like. But they're increasing the attacks. I mean, the other night, the first night, it was 80 attacks. Last night, it was 90 attacks at a bridge. So I think they knew all along they were not going to abide by any of this stuff.
You got to take Carg Island, shut down all their oil. Yeah. They revoked the license to sell oil. They revoked the sanctions relief, all the other stuff. They revoked all of that yesterday. And now they got to take Carg Island. And if we got to put Marines on Carg Island, well, then we got to put Marines on Carg Island. It's one of those things where this regime needs to come to an end or else. That's how this is going to play out. Because they're not going to make a deal. They can care less about making a deal with the United States. Now, the difference between Trump is he's the only one that's taken them on. The rest of them, Barack Obama and the others, paid for all of this infrastructure that Iran has now, where they're making nukes. And the ability for them to go into Israel and kill all the Israelis.
Not to mention all the NATO countries he was talking smack about who haven't done anything either. I mean, he's just now getting most of them to pay their fair percentage. That's it.
Let me tell you what's going to happen with that. He is going to get to the point where he's going to start pulling troops out of, like Spain yesterday.
Right.
We're done.
Going off on Spain.
We're done trading with Spain, and he did that live. I was sitting here. It's 2:00 in the morning our time. And he just looks over at Scott Bessent and says, cut off all trade with Spain. I want it over with.
Last time he was talking to Root, he was talking crap about Spain.
Right, and that was
a few
last
weeks
night.
ago.
And so that's where we are with this, is that eventually he's going to say to Germany, he's going to say to the UK, he's going to, wherever we have troops over there, France, he's going to say, we're done. Y'all come on home. Because if you're not going to play ball with us, I ain't going to play ball with you.
And he doesn't mince words. Doesn't matter who he's sitting next to. He doesn't mince words about that stuff.
And I can tell you this. If he starts pulling troops out of Europe, you will watch Europe get right. You will watch them come screaming with hat in hand.
That'll get their attention real fast.
100%, because they've got to have our guys there. Back in a minute, more Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA. Mostly sunny and hot, 96 for the high today. Rain chances coming up this weekend, 78 right now, KTSA.
couple of food stories. Let's do food stories.
I like food.
Again, the food at the Tobit Center buffet was amazing. Just amazing. Oh, Elaine, the dessert cart alone.
Oh, my.
I will dream of for the rest
Talk
for many
dirty to
years.
us. Talk dirty to us.
A real cheesecake. Mousse. Anyway, I've recently discovered Chili's. I mean, I've been to Chili's my whole life, off and on, but I haven't really gone as much as I have recently. Because you go to Chili's, and for what you're going to pay at a fast food joint, maybe you guys talked about this yesterday, you can go to Chili's and get, a really decent meal. My mother-in-law and I went to Chili's just last week, and their lunch special is really affordable, and you get a crap load of food. Chili's is doing a public promotion now where they're kind of mocking some of these value meals at the fast food joints, and I think they're mocking one from Burger King that's $18, over $18 for a value meal. I noticed that the last time we went to McDonald's, which was, I think, about a week ago, and you realize, like, a Big Mac by itself is like $9, the value meal, so to speak, with the drink and the fries is like over $11 to $12. So Chili's is like making fun of them with this public the social media stuff they're doing. And it's racked up over 5 million views, and people are right. You're right. You go to a Chick-fil-A, I love Chick-fil-A, but my God, you're going to pay out the butt at Chick-fil-A. You go to McDonald's, same thing. Burger King, all of them, you're paying a lot of money for what used to be the cheap, easy way to go. So, and I think you've said this before, if you're going to pay that kind of price, just go to a sit-down restaurant and get the full experience.
Well, I did a video on this morning because Nancy and I rediscovered Chili's. We got away from it during COVID, the one near our house.
Oh, yeah?
Because, man, it was terrible. The service was terrible. Food was terrible.
Oh, really?
And now they've rebuilt to, man, they're bringing it, and it's really good. And they've got this 3 for Me thing.
Oh,
Where for $10, $10, you get this crispy chicken sandwich thing that makes Chick-fil-A look like total flat breast. This thing is thick, it's juicy, it is crispy, it is wonderful with the fries, drink, and endless chips and salsa for $10. You go to, let's say you go to a fast food joint. You're going to pay at least twice that for a burger and fries. That's what they were talking about. The burger at BK was $12.
That's what I mean, yeah.
And by the time I got done, it was $18 to take it home. You get it home, and it's all soggy because it's done been with all the ketchup and stuff. You put on it, you get to the house, it's a soggy burger. You can eat in a restaurant, a sit-down restaurant, for less money and have better food today.
Well, that's what I meant. You go to a Chili's, you're going to pay what you pay for going through the drive-thru at Mickey D's or Burger King, and it's really good food. Like, I never thought much of their food before, but they've really upgraded the food.
It's good.
The chicken tenders at Chili's are freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And so we, it's just kind of interesting. I saw this story yesterday about this promotion they've been doing about kind of slamming the other guys for their pricing. And I realized, I've been going to Chili's for quite a while now. They're good food.
But they did it nicely. They said, this is what we've been telling you. Come here, have the 3 for Me. And they laid out what the 3 for Me is. And it's only $10 compared to these other guys. And it's absolutely true. It's 100%. Fast food now is the most expensive food out there you can get.
And it's smaller and crappier.
Yeah. There's a Mexican place up the street from our house. You go in there, and a plate full, Sean, is probably 4 meals when you take it home.
Right.
And you're going to pay half of what you're going to pay at a fast food joint. So
the other thing about food that I saw, Dr. Oz and RFK Jr. and Trump, they're all calling for healthier hospital food. I don't know if you guys talked about this yesterday. They want to see an upgrade in, less processed foods at the hospital, more healthy fats, proteins, fresh, food. And as somebody who has eaten at just about every hospital in this town, I'm kind of divided on this one. I will say, you've heard me say this before, that, most hospital food really does suck. St. Luke's had great food. I don't know why St. Luke's had great food, but St. Luke's had great. I actually looked forward to the food at St. Luke's. But most of it is microwavable crap. And I get that you want to make the food better, but when you have that many people that you have to serve 3 times a day, I don't know if it's really logical to expect them to be able to do it, because that's a lot of food that you're passing out every single day. And plus, I can say from experience that the crappy food made me want to get the hell out of the hospital. So maybe serving better food isn't a good idea.
Well, what they want is healthier food.
Well,
so, there's healthier choices that can be done in a hurry in mass
Sure.
quantities instead of just throwing junk at people. There's one other story about food, too, and fast food. We talked about explosive diarrhea on the show yesterday.
Parasites. Yes.
Right. And it's coming through fecal matter that's on your lettuce and
Your lettuce
your
and your
cilantro.
Yeesh.
You got it on your cilantro. So Taco Bell has pulled the lettuce and the cilantro, onion, and pico and guac.
Oh no!
Because they don't, and there haven't been any instances where somebody ate at Taco Bell and had explosive diarrhea from this.
From this.
Listen to the last two words I just said. From this.
This.
But this is a preventative move on Taco Bell's part. So for a while, they won't be serving that stuff. So it's going to affect your taco. If you get a burrito that usually has lettuce and tomatoes in it.
Well, I like cilantro and pico on everything, man. So, and we've had about 15 cases, I think, statewide. Nobody dies from it. It's not transferred from human to human, but you can get it pretty easily from the food. So
it's a parasite.
It's a parasite.
Gastrointestinitis is not fun. I've had it twice in my life, and ain't nothing fun about it, baby. It is. Wow. Whoa, it's no fun.
It'll kick your ass. Weight? Get it?
Do I lose weight? Are you looking at this as a way to lose? You want to catch this now? You want some lettuce with fecal matter on it?
You want explosive diarrhea from a parasite?
I can tell you how to do that to yourself. Just eat one of your own enchiladas.
There you go.
All right? I guarantee it's going to be like you're having a colonoscopy the next day after you eat one of your enchiladas. You don't have to drink the purple stuff from the doctor when she's around.
Just eat one of her enchiladas. There you go. Wow. Well, I ain't giving up my pico and my cilantro, so if I get a parasite, I get a parasite. I'm just going to roll with it.
Well, you can't get it from Taco Bell, but you can do it at your own house. You can cook you can still use pico at your own house.
Yeah, but I know, but pico has to be picked by somebody, and maybe there's crap on it, and that's why
that's why you wash your
vegetables. You wash your vegetable.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't want no explosive diarrhea from pico.
Or from anything else.
From anything else. Okay. A chocolate bar. I don't get it.
I don't want it from Pico, but I'll accept it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what the point I'm trying to make is that if it comes down between me and my Pico, I'll risk the parasite to keep the Pico.
And enjoy the diarrhea after you have it. Right.
Hey, man, gives me a day off or something.
The Pico. Right. Exactly. More Ware and Rima coming up, KTSA.
Well, if you're like most investors, you're probably a bit confused on what
Okay, a couple of political things. Let's get a little political.
Political.
We done covered the explosive diarrhea part of the program.
Quite extensively,
but,
yes.
But they're one and the same these days.
Just one, the bull crap comes out one end, the other, it comes out the mouth and the brain.
Well,
and,
or some of it is, like Graham Plattner is explosive diarrhea.
Oh, my God, that guy. Yes.
So let's talk about him for just a second. Because I'm so beat on, I'm so picked on, and they're pulling the infrastructure from me, and I can't believe that they're doing this to me. And he's turning it around and making himself the victim in this video. And again, the thing about this video was he made it at a rest stop on the side of the road that apparently he saw a couple of porta potties and had to pull over because he can't pass a porta potty without having to park in front of the porta potty and have a good time.
Well, he didn't talk to his supporters. He didn't meet with anybody. He does it on a little jive video roadside. What a coward.
So on M. Snow and the other Democrat channels, Jake Tapper's trying to find somebody to find something to say positive about him, and they're calling him narcissistic sociopath. And I said this morning, that's the whole party. And to me, that is the story out of all this. The story is not Graham Plattner, as far as I'm concerned. The story is he is the poster boy for the Democrats. This is what the Democrats are, okay? They are narcissistic sociopaths. They are a party with no principle. And he, Pervy Plattner, is the proof of all of that. They were going to put him up, and they were going to put him in the Senate, and all of their leadership went to 156,000 people in Maine and convinced them to vote for him, knowing all of this about him. None of this is new. Jake Tapper can tell you, well, this latest rape allegation is all new. No, it's not.
2 days before the primary, I think they had an accuser come out and was saying stuff about this. So everybody knew who this guy was when they cast their ballots and when they were supporting him.
Of course they did. In fact, you should have stopped at the Nazi tattoo. When you saw that, that's indicative of who this guy is, right? It wasn't just like I had a Nazi tattoo and nothing else in my life. This guy's got a string of issues, and he knew that with the Nazi tattoo. So, but that's who the Democrat Party is. If you don't have any principle, all right, your only thing you want to do is win so that you have the power and the money. That's all they care about.
Well, yeah, and with this guy, very obviously they have been, leeching young male voters, and so they've been trying to masculine up the party, and they thought this guy being a rough and tumble oyster farmer, which he really wasn't in any way, shape, or form. But he's a manly guy. We'll put him out there. It doesn't matter if he's roughed up a couple of women, allegedly, or whatever, the Nazi thing. Let's roll with this guy.
And let's keep in mind, this is the party. Not only are they a party of communists today, they are the Communist Party of America today, but they are this because this is what they're willing to do, and it includes all of their leadership. Chuck Schumer.
Oh, sure.
Chuck Schumer said it over and over again. All of the Democrats in Congress said it over and over again with the exception of one, and that's John Fetterman. This is what John Fetterman had to say last night.
Let me ask you. The same cannot be said about the leaders of your party.
Yeah, absolutely. Like what? What Democrats, saw in that trash bag? What did they see in this guy? Was it the Nazi tattoo? Was the gross messages online? The way he roughs up women? And now, what's why did you go in on this dirtbag? But yeah, it's like this is your legacy, P. Hustle, and now adios, trash bag.
And not only that, but taking it to the Bernie Sanders and the Elizabeth Warrens and Ro Khannas of the world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Bernie Sanders needs to apologize to the voters of Maine and to, everyone that donated to that train wreck of a campaign. More than anyone, he pushed P. Hustle into the election. And now, he keeps pushing these communists and these kind of awful anti-American people. So there's plenty of those people that have to humble themselves. Humble yourself and stop pushing, this kinds of people on people in my party.
Which is not going to happen. Bernie Sanders or Chris Murphy or Ro Khanna, they're not going to apologize for this. But yes, 156,000 people, and that's their guy. They chose him knowing this, and that's the horse they need to ride through this whole deal.
I was going to say there's two things I don't want to hear any Democrats harping about at this point. I don't want to hear them talking about character because they obviously have none. This guy obviously has no character at all, and they were all in. Okay? And secondly, I don't want to hear them running their mouths about democracy because you're right. This is who they voted for. This guy won the primary upwards of 70%. Okay, he should. They're going to swap him out. I mean, it's so similar to the Biden-Kamala dealio that it takes your breath away. It's the same playbook. And once again, the voters, because the people they insult the most by their actions are their own supporters. They don't give a crap that they voted for this guy. Those people did. They cast a vote. Now this guy was pushed on them. Everybody was saying this is the guy. But they still did vote for him, so why shouldn't he be on the ticket? Why shouldn't he be the guy?
He should be.
Yeah.
But again, they did this to Joe Biden. This is their deal. This is how they roll. When there's somebody that they can't win with, and his poll numbers were going way down. Susan Collins, he was 23 points ahead of him. He was bleeding money left and right. That $16 million was almost all the way gone.
He's
down
like $2 million
down
or
to $2
something
million
left,
now. So no, this is how the Democrats roll. They don't care about. They don't give two spits about democracy or any of how the system works. No. And not only, you're right, they crapped all over their own supporters, and they do it every time, but they're also crapping on the country because every once in a while they'll get these guys elected.
Oh, sure.
Like a Mamdani. Like the people that Mamdani's getting put in place. Like this guy that they're about to put into place up in Michigan that they have been pushing that is a Muslim, Islamo-fascist guy that is a communist as well. They're doing this all across this country. They are the Democrat Party is not only a death cult, it's a party of destroyers. They are destroying the United States of America, and they were willing to allow Graham Plattner, an accused rapist, after all we heard about Brett Kavanaugh.
Oh, me too.
In a made-up story.
A load of crap. Yeah.
A made-up story by Christine Blasey Ford. We hear you. We believe you.
Come on.
And they were willing for a woman. And you know what was so disgusting? I brought this up yesterday. The woman who accused him of some of this stuff, she said she did not want to do it because she agrees with the commie way.
Right.
And so she wanted him to actually be elected. So she was willing.
She had a bit of a moral struggle about, coming.
She was willing to sit on an alleged sexual assault of his just to get him elected. That's a Democrat for you.
Now she's dealing with her friends who also were planning on voting for him, and and she's derailed this with her, coming out with the accusations. No, they've lost their way. Whether they ever had their way is another conversation. They've lost their way. They're just wandering in the wilderness. They've got some idea about a revolution and communism, but the foot soldiers of this thing are just they're stumbling over themselves.
They never had a way, and I'll prove it. In the 1860s, they started a civil war to hang on to their slaves.
Well, yeah, they sort of did.
They really did. They really did.
Jim Crow, that was sort of on your side of the room, man.
So you wanted to hang on to your slaves, and you put us through the bloodiest war we have ever seen on our own land. The Democrats did that.
Like a good narcissist, they accuse everybody else of being what they are, and that's exactly who's the racist in the room.
It's them.
Who's the person saying that black people are too stupid to produce a photo ID?
That's him.
That's them.
But what I'm saying is, what you see in him is the party.
Oh, yeah.
All this mess that's in Graham Plattner, every single one of these things, it's indicative of the entire party. That's who they are.
The Graham Plattner and even James Tallarico trip, Eric Swalwell. The side benefit of all of these political events is that we see the true face of who the Democratic Party really is.
Right, but here's what you're right. But here's what their media is trying to do right now. They're trying to act all surprised. The Democrat leadership is all surprised.
No.
Right. And so now, look what they're trying to do, Sean. They're trying to make themselves out to be the knight in shining armor and say, we removed this guy once we found out how bad he was. Bullshit.
Well, again, perfect display of a symptom of narcissistic personality disorder. You're either the victim or the hero, and usually both based upon your own contrivance. So they're the heroes now because we're getting rid of this guy because we just realized what a bad guy he is.
Right, and it's none of that is true.
No.
Do not believe it when Jake Tapper tells you that.
Oh, yeah.
The opposite is true. They knew this guy, and they sold him to their people.
We've been talking about his character issues on this show for weeks, and they didn't know.
Well, for months. And it again, the first thing was the Nazi tattoo. And it should have, again, I'll say, it should have ended there. That was the first thing. That was before all the line of all the other stuff came.
If you were a Republican and you had a Gestapo tattoo on your body, okay, your campaign would be over the minute it was discovered.
100%.
Not if you're a Democrat.
And you know why? Because you and I would go after that guy.
Well, yeah.
Or that woman. You're a Republican, you show up with a Nazi tattoo, we will take you out on this show.
Well, absolutely. And that's actually a good point to bring up that we don't discuss very often. Whenever these allegations of white supremacy and all this stuff are leveled against a conservative, what do you hear? Well, if you voted for a Nazi, I can't be your friend. Oh, if you voted for him, you must be a racist. Okay, I would never actually vote for a racist. I would never vote for an abuser of women. I would never vote for anybody who was anything like what they accused Donald Trump of being, and yet their own candidates actually are.
Yes, the Democrats will vote for those people because they're a party without principle. Quick break, more Ware and Rima coming up, KTSA. Mostly sunny and hot today, high of 96, and rain chances increase this weekend. Right now it's 81, KTSA.
Good morning. Looks like a new trouble spot, I-10 East.
We are Ware and Rima, KTSA.
Kind of an interesting story that came out of a news station in Miami. And again, I don't know if you guys talked about this yesterday or not. Which kind of deals with a topic that everybody is having to deal with at this point, which is your social media stuff and your job. Vice President of News, Bill Pohevy, I believe. Pohevy, I think. I'm not sure exactly how to say the guy's name. He's a VP at WPLG. And a couple of months ago, he put out a memo warning people who work for the news department of this station to be cautious and cognizant of the stuff they do on social media so that whatever they post doesn't diminish their validity as journalists, which in American media or American journalism is kind of funny to begin with. But, don't post videos of you doing something stupid, cutesy-pootsy. We want people to see you as serious journalists. The reason it makes the news now is because there's been several memos concerning the news staff's social media posts, and right when this one comes out, one of the anchors posted some pictures of her in a bikini while she was on vacation. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a weird story, but the idea behind it is kind of interesting, and you and I have talked about this on a number of occasions, in that, routinely you see people who post some weird crap on social media and get fired. Mm-hmm. We saw a lot of this, unfortunately, after the death of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Mm-hmm. A lot of people lost their jobs because they were posting noxious crap about that on social media. You and I, we're also in full disclosure, all of us here at KTSA, we are encouraged as a part of our job to do social media content. Mm-hmm. And it's something that we all work on every day. Mm-hmm. It's not something that we were really pushed to do very heavily prior, but it's kind of where the industry is going. Social media is a big deal in radio in general and talk radio. And I don't know about you, but what I've found on my end of it is that the more it's something I really have to do for work, the less interested I am in doing it for my personal stuff.
I could care less.
Like I don't post nearly as much personal stuff on social media as I used to since we started really kind of having to do it for work. I'm sorry, what were you?
No, it's okay. I was just going to say I could care less about doing it on my personal pages anymore. Right. If you look at my personal pages, last stuff was from last Thursday. I just put videos up from last Thursday, but that was it. But I could care less about it.
But it is funny how you really have to be kind of conscious about what you post on social media now, because it can really come back and bite you on the ass. But now this guy's kind of funny because in American culture right now, anybody who refers to any journalist almost as a serious journalist, I got to chuckle a little because American journalism is I think at an all-time low right now as far as validity.
Well, I've told you that many times. They don't exist. They're actors and actresses hired and paid to carry through a particular message. In this case, this was a girl who used to be Miss Miami.
Oh, that's right. She's a beauty queen.
Yeah, and she just went on vacation and posted a couple of pictures of her in nice little bikinis and whatever. And man, they just the guys that she works with.
Well, people were upset at the station apparently because nobody said anything to her.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the VP of programming essentially is sending out memo after memo like, hey, watch what you post on social media. And they're like, what about her?
Yeah.
So, I kind of get where they're having an issue with that. But it is funny how I've noticed in my own life that the more social media becomes something of my profession, the less interest I have in my personal life.
100%, man. And I wasn't that much into it. If you go back and look at my feeds, I wasn't that much into it prior to us having to do this. It's just not. It didn't drive my life. I had other stuff to do that consumed my life. But even less so now that we're making these videos and doing all this stuff, I could care less about posting my personal stuff.
It's just if I got to do it for work, I lose interest in having to do it doing it in my personal.
And you know what else? Here's the other side of this. I was telling you about the guys who were stopping me after last Thursday's show, driving down the highway, waving at me. They know what you look like now because they see you on social media. So that's all positive from that side. But you do realize when you do it in more of a controversial atmosphere, the amount of nut jobs who are out there,
Oh, sure.
And so I don't want to call attention to myself and certainly not my family for these nut jobs that are out there because they're everywhere. They're nuts.
If a nut job wants to get to you, a nut job's going to get to you. I don't think about that too much. And plus, you see them when we do a video in the comments. I don't really look at them a whole lot, but when you look at the comments, it's like, wow, you're crazy.
Yeah, but if a nut job wants to get to you guys, make sure that they get to you guys.
Well, yeah, that's why I said
we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about this on the radio, guys. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about this on the radio. But the fact of the matter is, yes, but I'm not going to hand them the way to find me. It's like, oh, well, every Thursday, Trey goes to this restaurant. I know where he is. I'm not going to give them that satisfaction. But the bottom line is, it's just one of those deals where you don't have and people, when your employer cracks down on you, people will start to scream, well, you're violating my First Amendment rights. No, the First Amendment protects you from the government. The government can't crack down on you. But your employer can sure tell you what you can and cannot put on social media, baby.
If they're paying your ass to do something,
That's right.
They can surely tell you what not to put on social media. It ain't about your rights. It's about your employment relationship.
And people say, well, that's away from work. That's not in non-work hours. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
When you sign up, and if you read your handbook for most companies these days, because the companies that we own, we have specific guidelines on this,
Yes,
Sean.
we do.
And, I'm talking about ours.
That's
the ones
what
that
I meant.
Nancy,
Yes, we do,
Nancy
yeah.
and I.
Yours.
Yeah.
Oh, your personal business.
We've written specific guidelines on this, and it doesn't matter because at any time you're representing us.
Sure.
All the time.
I've just noticed also on social media just how much AI-driven content is showing up.
It's insane.
And it's like you're not even really sure if you're looking at a real person or a real person is talking anymore.
No.
And that's a little creepy to me. Just, we really are entering the age of artificial consciousness.
That's what I was telling you this morning when we played the national anthem at 6:50. If you guys weren't listening, it was Alexa, and it's one we did like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And she's like, I pledge allegiance to the real staccato,
Right.
Obviously a computer. Alexa today, you can order her up in any voice, and it's
Yeah.
fluid like you and I are talking right now.
I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't talk to AI. I'll put some prompts in because I want AI to do something, but I don't interact with it because I find that creepy. Because there ain't nobody talking back at you, man. I've seen people get into arguments with it.
But the problem is, Sean, it's getting so ubiquitous, you don't know.
Well, when
You know
somebody
what I'm
calls
saying?
you up on the phone and it's a business of some kind, I just pretty much assume it's AI at this point.
I mean, yes, and it's just it's everywhere, and it's going to become even more so in our society.
It's like social media, and then the internet before that. You know, I mean, that's just and before that, the personal computer. Technology evolves, and artificial intelligence is the wave of the present and the future, and you're not going to be able to avoid it.
No, you're not.
You really have to develop, some parameters for what your relationship with it's going to be.
Hey, listen, real quick before the break, I want to take a ride in an airplane.
All aircraft effective immediately. Palm Beach International Airport is officially President Donald J. Trump International Airport.
This is the cockpit of a jet.
Right.
Early this morning.
President Donald J. Trump International Airport. ATIS Information Hotel now current. Trump altimeter 3009.
Trump altimeter 3009er.
There we go. It's official.
It's official. That's the captain of that airliner saying we're going into Donald John Trump International Airport. I'm just playing that for the Democrats who are listening for us this morning, just so you cringe a little bit more. Ware and Rima coming up, KTSA.
News Talk 550 KTSA.
Want to go check him out?
Nice.
Yeah, go ahead. Christian's got a thing for Sophie Cunningham.
Who is Sophie Cunningham?
The point girl from the basketball.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
There's the long arm. Yeah.
She got some fresh content out there that I just put up a little while ago. If you want to go check it out over there.
She's my new hero.
She's cool. I like her.
He lusts after her.
You lust after her, Christian.
He's Christian blood.
It makes me wish I was about 20 years younger and 5 inches taller.
Christian needs another 5 inches. Can we help him with that?
That doesn't sound good, does it? Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They sell shoe inserts for that.
Here comes Elaine.
Oh, yeah, Elaine, what do you think? Can we help him get some shoe inserts? The boy's too short.
Ask Bob De Niro. He's got them.
Yeah.
Those guys basically wear concrete blocks on their feet.
What do you think?
Is her hair real?
Is her hair real?
I'm so tired of hearing that.
Well, that's big on Elaine.
Who is her hair real?
Sophie Cunningham.
No, he was talking about the comments on our videos.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of guys that are constantly commenting saying my hair is fake and Velcro.
Your hair is fake?
Oh, that you color your hair.
And it's fake. It's Velcroed on. Have you seen these guys?
I've
you
seen
watched?
somebody
oh my
put,
God.
go get your hair colored or something.
I'm like, okay, you guys got me. Oh yeah, I'm bald as a cucumber.
I will say this: I've known this man for quite a while at this point, and he does have beautiful hair. You have really good hair,
He does have
Trey.
beautiful hair, and he
That
does
is
not
good,
color
thick
his
hair.
I don't color it. I
Good,
don't do
thick
anything.
hair.
I have to go cut it once a week. Costs me $26 once a week to go cut this stuff.
Well,
I love
obviously
it.
I don't color
lucky
my
you.
hair. Obviously I don't color my hair because I do a crappy job of it because I must be going for gray.
Going for gray. There's a deal.
Yeah.
If I'm coloring it, I'm doing a crappy job. But you have nice hair.
Thank you. Yeah,
very nice hair.
it was a blessing from
It's
God.
got like an ombre look to it. Like it's lighter and then it gets darker.
Yeah, well, the temples are turning gray on me.
Yeah.
Dad
Me
gummit.
too.
Mm-hmm.
I got gray.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
colored
didn't mean to talk about my hair. We just
it's
we
fine.
was talking about all this other stuff going on. Christian's short by 5 inches, so I thought I'd toss the hair thing.
I thought we were going with Sophie Cunningham, and now we're
Oh,
into
I know. How do we get to that?
I don't know.
Well, her hair is
Trey
real.
wears Velcroed hair.
Yeah.
It's a weird off ramp, but no. But I mean, you
Weird.
both got nice hair. Okay, she's got nice hair. You got nice hair.
Elaine's just nice all the way around.
Elaine's got nice hair.
I
You got
need
nice
to get
hair.
it colored though.
Oh, you do?
I do need to get it colored.
Oh.
I
Little
don't-
root touch up.
I don't ever want to be one of those radio guys that like dyes their hair and their eyebrows.
We
you
knew
know,
one.
I can't do that. What's that?
It was a big deal back in the
We
day.
knew one.
Ugh, I just can't do it.
Big deal back in the day, man, and they did. Politicians do it.
Oh, yeah.
That hair on Tallarico, if y'all want to pick on somebody, that boy's bald as a bat. He ain't. That's all
You think
fake.
that's a piece?
That is all. Huh?
You think he's got a hairpiece on?
Oh, look at this boy. That is fake.
Tallarico?
That is fake as I'm. Even look, the sides are dark and the top is light. That boy
got a
can't even
rug?
match the colors, huh?
He's got a rug on.
Yeah, he got a rug on.
I don't know.
I didn't know bats were bald.
Bats.
I think maybe a baseball bat.
Yeah.
They're bald.
But bats are bald. But anyway, yes, he's
Are they?
bald as a bat. Anyway,
What the hell are we talking about?
I don't know where this
the
is
show's
supposed to go
going.
now. Can I talk about Gina Hinojosa?
Yes. Yes.
She wants to be governor of the state of Texas, and she says if she's elected governor, she's going to give you $1,500 just to elect her governor. And it's your
cracks me
own
up.
money. It's your own money. This is what Democrat communists do. Please keep in mind, the Democrat Party are communists. The communists are the Democrat Party. They are one and the same. There's no separation anymore, guys. They are the commies. So she says, hey, listen, if you'll just elect me, and by the way, her campaign slogan is, get rid of the wheels, go to high heels.
Oh, God, yes. That's grotesque.
Do you get it? Do you understand?
That's grotesque.
Yeah, but you know what? He embraces that kind of
Oh,
humor.
like
Well, he does,
Jasmine
yeah.
calling him Governor Hot Wheels, he
didn't
loved
work,
it.
That didn't work for Jasmine at all,
He
man.
loved it.
Yeah.
Get rid of the wheels and bring in the high heels. So she says, if you will vote for me, I'll give you $1,500 of taxpayer money. Going to cost the taxpayers of Texas $17 billion. So let me ask you a question. Those of you outside of Austin, let me ask you a question. Do you think that's a wise expenditure of your money, that they're going to take it from you, you're working hard, and they're just going to spread it around, $17 billion of it going to give it to every household in the state of Texas if she gets elected?
Well, it's like bumming a $5 bill off of somebody and then saying, hey, you need a $5 bill? Here you go. It's your money. And it's also kind of slippery politically because you're trying to get elected by promising free money. But that's what they do, though. They promise all kinds of free crap to get elected.
The Austinites,
it's not really free, though.
The Austinites are going to go for it.
Oh, the Austinites be like, yeah, that sounds cool. I get $1,500.
$1,500 to buy more dope down on South Congress. That's great, man. How much dope can you buy for $1,500 these days?
I need to buy some new hats. I could use $1,500. I need to buy some new strings for my guitar.
Isn't that a gram of Coke now or something? $1,500, you get a gram of Coke? I don't know. Just tossing it out there. Whatever they're doing now, fentanyl, whatever.
I don't know.
So,
but I mean, that's how people who don't have a policy they can sell you. That's how they try to win elections.
And that's the Democrat Party.
Well, yeah,
they got nothing to sell you. Here's James Tallarico saying, you know what? You guys who want to not, you don't want to mutilate children through these trans surgeries. You're bad people.
You saw it in the anti-LGBTQ legislation, including the bill that would have denied gender-affirming health care to trans children.
Gender-affirming health care to trans children is removing breast tissue from girls and penises from boys. He is in favor of chopping up children.
You saw it in the anti-LGBTQ legislation, including the bill that would have denied gender-affirming health care to trans children.
Good God.
And then, of course, infamously, we saw it last session with the most extreme abortion ban in the country. All these ideologies stem from this Christofascism movement.
Christofascism. This guy's a demon from hell, guys. You need to know that about him.
What you brought up this morning with the Tallarico and Beto.
Yeah.
The Blind Squirrel Tour.
Yeah. They're going out to get drag queens signed up for his campaign.
Oh, that's great, yeah. But you know what? In Beto, you'd think, the guy's never won an election. You'd think he'd be like anathema for these, but he's a rock star. They still think of him. And you talk about Austin, they freaking love Beto in Austin.
Every house in Austin had a Beto sign.
I mean, it's probably a wise move politically on his point to hook up with Beto because the guy's still a rock star for some bizarre reason.
You said he's hooking up with Beto.
Well, maybe he is too. I don't know. Everybody needs a hobby.
Tallarico. You never know.
But Tallarico also.
I have a girlfriend.
I agree with you that Texans need to understand how bad this guy is and what he really stands for. But his agenda ain't much different than any other Democrat that spews this crap. I mean, it's all so boring now because it's so expected.
I tell you what. I'll tell you who gets it. And I'm sorry. I'm going to give her a modicum of just a tiny fraction of a little bit of credit because Jasmine gets this. She understands. Now, she's going to talk some nonsense about here being a racist primary and all that kind of stuff. But she understands if she's going to be true to the black community, the last thing she can do is hook up with a trans guy. A guy who pushes transgenderism, because black people hate that tranny nonsense worse than they hate anything else.
For me, I am going to be working everywhere. The best thing that I can do for James Tallarico isn't me standing on a stage with him. It is the fact that I endorsed 5 candidates in the runoff who all happen to be black men in the state of Texas, and every single one of them won, and they're going on to November, meaning that they will pull out more black people to vote. People keep trying to say, well, Jasmine has to go and hold his hand. No, I don't. And don't
she's talking to a black crowd, by the way.
Worry about my math and how it works in my mind. Because the reality is that if you can give people more than one thing to vote for, then you have a better chance of getting them out to the polls.
So anyway, she's not going to hook up with a guy who pushes transgender and mutilating children. She's not going to hook up with that because black people hate that. One other story real quick I want to toss in here.
Sure.
Vlad Skuridian is a 13-year-old in Cypress, Texas. That's just a little bit north of Houston. He's sitting in his bedroom the other day, and he's playing video games. There's a storm outside. Lightning strikes. He gets hit by lightning sitting at a desk playing a video game in his office, at his house, in his bedroom. And it wasn't the video game that shocked him. What happened apparently was it hit a tree outside. The tree blew a hole. The lightning bolt blew a hole in the wall, and the front edge, the leading edge of his desk where he was sitting was metal.
Oh my God!
And it
went through that.
Went through the metal on the desk and got him in the belly.
Ow!
He's okay. He's all right. But he's like, I thought I was literally going to die. I bet.
Well, that's a lot of electricity surging through that part of your body.
Yeah, man.
That would be closest to the edge of a desk.
Started a fire in the attic of the house.
Wow.
That's how bad it was. So.
Well, God's creation can do interesting things on occasion, and there's not much he can do about it.
Well, it's not only God's creation, but God protected him.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that was a little protection thing.
Oh, yeah.
And Republicans in Congress have written a letter to the WNBA saying this nonsense of these attacks on Caitlin Clark got to stop. We're watching you here in Congress. We're paying close attention. And it looks like these are racially motivated attacks as well. So we may have to get
say so.
Yeah. Well, they are. They are. In fact, if you watch the sports channels and the comments about it, they say the Black Lesbian League has it in for the white straight girl. That's what they're saying.
Me.
And you know what? That's what they're saying on sports radio, sports television.
Right.
But this is the WNBA is a Black Lesbian League, and they have it in for the white straight girl, and they're trying to remove her.
Well, if she were a black woman, would this be going on? They'd be celebrating her.
They would be carrying her on their shoulders every night.
Well, there's even like certain commentators. I don't follow basketball closely enough to even know who the dude was. Who was, I guess, a fairly popular sports commentator saying, or maybe he was an ex-coach. Oh, she's not really saving the WNBA. That's all made up stuff. No, she's not as big a deal. He was trying to blunt the criticism that she is being targeted because she is so good and because she's white.
Sure.
And he's like, oh, it's a fantasy and she saved it. No, nobody was talking about women's basketball until this chick came along.
Well, and even worse than that, nobody was buying tickets. The arenas were empty, and she comes in the door to play, and the arenas are full. Anyway, let me tell you about my friends over at Amity Bank. We were talking earlier about some of the businesses that Nancy and I own, and Amity has been an integral part of that, not only in our personal financial matters at home, but also in our businesses. And one of the things that we just did last week was we opened up what they call a Business Beyond account. And it's specific for small businesses in the state of Texas. And what it does, all the things that you need your account to do, accounts receivable, accounts payable, commissions, all of those things. This account does that like the big boys. I'm talking about the huge corporations, without having the price of the huge corporations, because us small business people, we can't afford to buy all those services. Well, if you have a small business, Amity has rolled all of those services into this account, and they can even custom make it. If you need a little more of this and a little less of that, boom, they can take care of that for you without having the big business price tag on it. That's what I absolutely love about Amity. They focus everything that they do on small businesses, whether it's a family business or a small business of any kind. Then they focus on making sure you have the services from your bank that you need without having to pay the huge prices that the big boys are paying. Our bank is Amity. Whether it's our personal stuff or whether it's for our businesses, our bank is Amity. Check them out. They're all over the place, more than 80 branch locations, or you can do it all online. Amity NA, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Mostly sunny and hot. High of 96 today. Rain chances coming up this weekend. 82 right now, KTSA.
Good.
It is the Narcissistic Sociopath Party. That's the Democrat Party. And Graham Plattner is just their poster boy. That's what this is. When you look at all the stuff that's rolled into him, that's who they are in the Democrat Party, with the exception of, I guess, of John Fetterman. But they were selling him to the people of Maine. 156,000 of them came out and voted for him, knowing all of this stuff. Now they're trying to act like these are all news things, and now that we're finding out these things, we're removing him. None of that's true. They knew what they had, and they went out and they were going to push him into office. And Jack Riccardi is here. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. I thought when I heard narcissistic and sociopathic, that was your lead into me.
No, sir, I would never say that about
wow,
you.
He's really taking the gloves off today.
Welcome back, Jack.
Oh, that's funny.
No, really, seriously. I mean, this is who they are. They're a party without principle, and it shows clearly in this guy.
Both parties are without principle.
Well, of course.
They're both about the scoreboard. They're both about the coattails, which way the wind is blowing. You could see this. I could see all this happening. Couldn't you? I could see all this happening in a different state under different circumstances. This could happen to the Republicans.
Oh, sure it could. But it's not. They're not pushing
The only thing that would save the Republicans from this would be that the media would more aggressively dig into and cover their candidates. in a weird twist of fate, in an irony that only guys like us can appreciate, the sort of slavering, tongue-bathing Democrat media screwed their own party because they bought the character arc, as Molly Jong-Fast calls it. They bought the character arc of this guy Plattner. In other words, he told them, I used to be this and now I'm that. And they were like, oh, okay. And so by not checking, now they're having to do all these, we're reconsidering and we have to figure out how we got this wrong. I'm tired of it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's gotten boring because it's so expected. But one thing is, I think I heard you talking about this last week, Jack. The two words I don't want to hear out of any Democrat now because of the Plattner events or the Plattner phenomenon are democracy and character. I don't want to hear them preaching to anybody about character because he won that primary. They wanted this guy, and they were behind this guy all the way until just a few days ago. And I don't want to hear them running their mouths about democracy because if what the people want is truly the way you should go, then this guy should still be running because he was voted. He won the primary.
What about that,
Weren't
Jack?
they just telling us we don't want candidates grown in vats?
Right.
Yeah.
So here you go.
Right.
I don't think they should be allowed to replace him. I mean, he can say whatever he wants, but I really think political parties should have to live with the candidate elected in their primary, period.
That we've been saying that all morning, that this is the guy that they elected, the people elected him. This is the horse they need to ride.
I thought they cared about democracy. Isn't that the point?
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm sure you've been playing it all morning, but the whole withdrawal thing.
Oh man.
Oh,
it's embarrassing.
That's a picnic table. I don't want to be sitting at.
Well, it had a couple of porta potties. That's why he stopped there.
Yeesh. Well, in the emotional moments, and he's the victim. His campaign structures were taken away from him, and by the evil elite somebody or whatever. It was pathetic.
Well, here we are.
Here we are. Yeah.
The other question I have this morning is, what's wrong with the new Air Force One? Like, how could it not have the same defense capabilities as the old one?
That's exactly what my video said yesterday. Number one, pray for the president. But secondly, he sent the new Air Force One away for security reasons. This whole cover story about it going to Europe so people
on tour so the troops can see it.
Come on, man. We ain't that stupid.
I just can't believe they would. I can't believe they would put one in service that didn't have all the same things we don't even know about, right? Because, I mean, I'm saying this like I know what they are, but nobody even knows exactly all the capabilities.
Oh, sure.
But then secondly, now you've let everybody know that the new one is vulnerable. That's weird.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that. Well, that is kind of weird.
No, like we all know that they have diversionary ordinances they can fire off of that thing to send missiles in different directions and things like that. And we learned from Harrison Ford they have a pod. A presidential pod, right?
I think we're just going to have to put Harrison Ford on the plane for the time being.
Let's get him on there.
Get off my plane. So, it's a real good question. And our defense mechanism, of course, is to tell everybody to put your shades up. That's what you
But that is interesting. If you've got a security threat, why wouldn't you want the newer plane? Why wouldn't you want him to be on the newer plane?
Sure.
Rather than the older plane?
Of course.
That doesn't make sense. That's odd.
So there's got to be more to this that we don't know or we're not being told. But the way they put this out is, and it's unusually bad messaging for this White House. It just doesn't make sense, and they usually get their ducks in a row.
It was absolutely terrible messaging for this White House because you're right. I mean, you would think you'd want him in the latest and the greatest because it's probably got the best security on it. You'd want the F-35s.
Or at the very least, don't allude to any vulnerabilities. Because now every time he rides around in the new one, we're all going to be like, I hope this is okay.
And you're right. It's one of the first times, only times when their story changed because originally Trump was saying, well, we got some threats and I'm number one target. And then later Trump is saying, oh, no, we wanted to be on tour for the troops.
Yeah.
It was kind of odd.
Well, I was telling you in the middle of the night, it started out with him saying, yes, I've got some threats.
Yeah.
And so I may not be around much longer. I mean, did that catch you a little weird too, Jack? He said that like 4 or 5 times yesterday. I may not be around much longer. What?
Well, I say that all the time, Trey, so I can't point fingers.
Well, that's a different.
The day will come.
That's a different not be around much.
You read the comments. The day will come.
We're all going to be AI voices floating in the ether at some point. So, yeah, I don't know. It was a real weird day for that yesterday because he said it no less than 5 times. He started in the middle of the night and he did say, I'm number one on the hit list, and I may not be around that much longer, so I'm going to send that jet somewhere else, and I'm going to catch another one home. And then the story changed as the day went on.
That's a little different for that crowd. That's an interesting point. We also were talking about, Jack, this promo by Chili's, kind of mocking fast food for the prices, and if you're going to pay that much, sit down and have a nice meal. Where does if Jack Riccardi wants fast food, where do you go? I'm curious.
Not Chili's.
I mean, just in general, like you a McDonald's guy?
I'm pretty open. I like them all. I like them all. I'm a fat. I mean, I'll go for it.
You're a what?
I don't have to worry. I'm not one of those people who has to worry about being seen going into a place like this. When people see me, they're like, "Yeah, we figured."
What did you say? You're a fat?
He's a fat.
I'm one of the fats.
What is that?
It's my ID. It's my identity.
Oh no, it's not.
Blacks, whites. You
ain't weighed a day over 150 in your life. Come on.
Oh please.
Yeah.
I'm a fat too.
Let me tell you something about Jack Riccardi. That boy can cook.
I've heard.
Oh man.
Yeah, he needs to cook less.
Instead, as any good fat should say. No,
exactly.
He brought me a big old thing of lasagna.
Right.
I mean, big thing of lasagna one time. I think it's probably still in the freezer, Jack. I think I'm still nibbling on it.
The chili that scares me. The Chili's story was also like. Did you see the Pepsi story where they were promoting one of their cherry flavored Pepsis by saying it's what happens when you don't ask for consent?
Oh no.
Yeah, and it's like whoa.
No.
Call that one back.
Thanks a lot
or
for
don't.
that.
Eesh.
On that, we're gonna leave.
I think so.
I think Jack is next.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. So more on the cherry Pepsi coming.